Chapter 1028 Undermining the Foundation. 3. Before the two Yunshao sect elders could speak, the youth's martial force shot skywards and seemed to disperse the clouds in the sky. These forces belonging to half-step yin-yang perfected lords spilled forth together like a flood and gathered together like a rushing river. The shocking martial force caused everyone to shudder. The two Yunshao sect elders were shocked and they sensed the force of several other half-step yin-yang perfected lords. They had not expected the Yi family to have as many as 4 or 5 half-step yin-yang perfected lords. Just as Elder Yin and Elder Gu were in shock. What's the matter? You think highly of those half-step yin-yang perfected lords but are disdainful of us. Since when has the Yunshao sect become so greedy? The remaining 100+ Yi family disciples immediately spoke up. Brothers and sisters, let us show these two lofty Yunshao sect elders if we are worthy to enter their Yunshao sect to cultivate. One of the slightly older Yi family disciples glanced at everyone and spoke. My thoughts exactly. Ha! I resent being looked down on by the Yunshao sect. It is merely the Yunshao sect, but it has become so greedy that it dares to come to our Yi house and make trouble. Let's show them whether we Yi family disciples are worthy of being noticed by the Yunshao sect. As they spoke, over 100 martial forces were simultaneously produced by the 100 Yi family disciples. Like a formless gust of air, it swept the area within a radius of 10 miles. Among the 100 over martial forces, the weakest of them had already entered the realm of martial Qi level 3 while the strongest was one step away from transforming into a yin-yang perfected lord. This force seemed to fill the heavens, the earth, the seas, and the mountains. Even every corner of the world seemed to be permeated with it. It was like the raging of ocean waves or like the tremors of a mountain quaking, like the heavens being rent or like the earth collapsing. The integration of 100+ martial forces was terrifying, especially the explosion that followed its coalition, which extended for a radius of 10 miles. At the same time, everyone from the Si family and the 3 branches of the Yi family also sensed it. The master of the Si family did not know what had happened in the Yi house. However, he unhesitatingly led the powerful cultivators in his family straight to the Yi house. The 3 branches of the Yi family and the 3 powerful yin-yang perfected lords led the senior members and talented youths of the branches and also hurried to the Yi family headquarters in unison. At that moment in the Yi family's headquarters, the two Yunshao sect elders who, in the midst of these waves of forces, were like lone boats adrift on a raging sea. What's going on? Yi Ling and second elder rapidly sensed this frightening force and appeared at the same time, bewildered. They thought that the talented disciples had been sparring and making mischief and that they had caused trouble. However, when they arrived, things did not seem to be what they had imagined. Greetings, master and elders. When they saw that Yi Ling and a few elders had appeared, the Yi family disciples in the courtyard withdrew their martial force and spoke respectfully. Who are they? The great elder asked when he looked at the two Yunshao sect elders and saw that they were strangers. Great elder, these two are Yunshao sect elders. Yi Ling laughed. What? Yunshao sect? Chapter 1029 So what if it's Yunshao sect? 1. When they heard that, the expressions of the great elder, second elder, third elder, and even the master, Yi Ling, all changed. As a super sect, the intimidating reputation of the Yunshao sect was deeply rooted in the elders and Yi Ling. When they heard that 2 Yunshao sect elders had come to the Yi house, they were stunned, and that was why their expressions changed. Yunshao sect, why have they come to the Yi house? Third elder was slightly pale, and cold sweat seeped from his brow. The great elder frowned slightly and thought for a moment before he looked at the third elder and said, Third elder. What do you think of the Yunshao sect? The third elder was taken aback by these words. Great elder, the Yunshao sect is a super sect, and super sects. The third elder had not yet completed his sentence when he suddenly snapped out of his trance. The fear on his face slowly faded, and he also frowned. That's right. So what if it's the Yunshao sect? Master, what do you think of the Yunshao sect? The third elder stared at Yi Ling. What about the Yunshao sect? Yi Ling was lost. Master, elders, the Yunshao sect is nothing. The third elder's expression changed, and he regained his composure. Their Yi family currently held high status. If even the weakest of their talented young disciples went forward, they would compare favorably with the top supernaturally talented disciples in the Yunshao sect. Besides this mainland's peerless school, Beiming Manor, and Phantom Valley, which were supremely powerful, no other super sect's power could compare with that of the Yi family, be it in the Nine Knights dynasty or the formidable Heavens dynasty. That's right, the Yunshao sect is nothing. Second elder nodded rapidly. When he heard that the Yunshao sect elders had arrived, the second elder had reverted to his old ways of thinking that the Yunshao sect was a huge entity. If the Yunshao sect wanted to, they could exterminate a small family clan like theirs on a whim. However, the second elder and the others had forgotten that the Yi family of the present could not be compared to the Yi family of the past. In the past, if the Yunshao sect elders had made a personal appearance, everyone from the Yi family would naturally show profound respect and humility. However, that was the past, not the present. The present Yi family was not the Yi family of the past. Yunshao sect? The great elder frowned slightly. What about the Yunshao sect? Is our Yi house a place where anyone can just go in and out casually? If they wish to enter our Yi house, even the sect master must announce his intentions in advance and wait for our approval, much less the elders. Great elder, you may not be aware that these two Yunshao sect elders are not here to visit the Yi house. One of the Yi family disciples, Yi Ling, suddenly spoke up. When they heard that, the great elder, the third elder, and the others were slightly taken aback. If they were not here on a visit, then why were they here? Great elder, these two Yunshao sect elders are unbearably arrogant. They have come to the Yi house to capture eldest young lady. They have also been talking wildly about exterminating our Yi family. Yi Ling looked at Yi Ling and the elders and added fuel to the fire. What did you say? The second elder was immediately enraged. Every word that I have said is true, isn't that right? Yi Ling immediately looked at Yi Yifan, who had changed his surname to Yi. That's right. Elder brother Yi Ling is speaking the truth. Yi Yifan nodded repeatedly and corroborated Yi Ling's words. Yifan, is what you are saying true? The great elder looked at Yi Yifan. Grandfather, it is all true. The 100+ brothers and sisters present also heard them clearly. Every word is true. Yi Yifan's face was filled with certainty. Chapter 1030 So what if it's Yunshao sect, too, impudent? The second elder looked at Elder Gu and Elder Yin and roared furiously. You're merely Yunshao sect elders, yet you're so arrogant in my Yi family. With just you two good-for-nothings, how dare you all think of capturing the eldest young lady of my Yi family? Elder Yin and Elder Gu were taken aback. A while ago, they clearly noticed that these senior members of the Yi family appeared fearful after learning of their identities, but that fear was crushed in an instant. Not only were the senior members not fearful, but they were even disrespectful. Elder Gu and Elder Yin gritted their teeth and glared at Yi family members. Never had they thought that there would be a day where they would be humiliated by cultivators at the ordinary martial realm. How dare they proclaim that they, half-step young perfected lords, are good-for-nothings? Yi Ling's expression changed drastically in an instant. Looking at those two Yunshao sect elders, his eyes twinkled coldly. How audacious of you two! How dare mere two half-step young perfected lords barge into my Yi family to capture my daughter? Not mentioning two Yunshao sect elders, even if your Yunshao sect master brings all the powerful figures over here, my Yi family will ensure that all of you will not be able to return. 2 days ago, Yi Ling and Yi Qingtang had a long talk, and he learned of the enmity between her and Yunshao sect. Their Yi family had yet to find time to stir troubles for Yunshao sect, but Yunshao sect delivered themselves to the Yi family on their own accord. Humph. A mere Yunshao sect truly doesn't know fear. Since you two are already here at my Yi residence today, just stay then. Don't go anywhere else. The great elder shouted coldly. At this instant, the two Yunshao sect elders were surprised and even in disbelief. Before they headed to Lin Town, they already knew about the rough situation of the Yi family. The Yi family was only a small family clan of the remote Lin Town, and a family clan like the Yi family was unworthy of even clinging on to the threshold of Yunshao sect. Yet, who could have thought that the Yi family would change so drastically in just half a month? Leaving aside the hundreds of frighteningly talented young disciples in the Yi family, what the Yunshao sect elders could not comprehend was the useless clan master and elders of the Yi family. These people clearly knew that they were Yunshao sect elders yet still dared to speak so wildly and say such things. No matter how slow the two Yunshao sect elders were, they now realized that something was wrong with the Yi family. However, Elder Yin and Elder Gu did not dare to act rashly. The hundreds of Yi family disciples were pretty skilled, and if they fought them, they were afraid that the two of them would be defeated by these members of the younger generation of the Yi family. Then, Clan Master Si brought a few Yin-Yang perfected lords of the Si family into the Yi residence. What happened? Clan Master Si noticed that the atmosphere of the Yi family was a little off and asked immediately. Powerful oppressive forces were emitted from the Yi residence previously, and Clan Master Si thought that something happened. It turned out that it was indeed so after entering the Yi residence. The third elder recounted the situation to the Si family members immediately. After listening to what the third elder said, Clan Master Si sized up Elder Yin and Elder Gu and scoffed. Although Yunshao sect was a super sect and a mighty force in the formidable Heavens dynasty, it could not even be compared to the Si family currently and yet was still so arrogant. They were just two elders, and they dared to come to the Yi family to arrest Tang Tang. Chapter 1031 So what if it's Yunshao sect? 3. Who exactly gave them this courage? What laughing stock! At this instant, the Yin-Yang perfected Lord branch masters of the other three branches rushed over to the headquarters along with their respective senior members and talented disciples. In no time, the Yi family field was filled with people, and all of them were powerful figures. Yunshao sect is truly a good example for the super sections. If the Nine Knights dynasty and formidable Heavens dynasty were as bold as the Yunshao sect, it would really be worthwhile. A branch master scorned as he stared at Elder Yin and Elder Gu. The two Yunshao sect elders had the skills of a half-step Yin-Yang perfected lord and came to the current Yi residence just by themselves, wanting to catch the Yi family's eldest young lady who was a Yang lord. Was the entire Yunshao sect a group of idiots? At this moment, Elder Yin and Elder Gu were struck with astonishment. Regardless of the Yi family or Si family, numerous Yin-Yang perfected lords actually appeared in both families. The two Yunshao sect elders even knew the names of some of the Yin-Yang perfected lords. These people were not even supposed to appear in Lin Town, yet for some reason, they were all gathered in this remote town. How can this be? Yin-Yang perfected lord. You all. Feeling the powerful skills of several Yin-Yang perfected lords, Elder Gu trembled slightly. Their Yunshao sect merely had two Yin-Yang perfected lords, one of them was the Grand Elder, who did not participate in the affairs of the external world, while the other was the sect master. Yet right before their eyes, there were actually numerous Yin-Yang perfected lords in the Yi family. In terms of the number of Yin-Yang perfected lords, the Yi family actually had much more than Yunshao sect. Do Yunshao sect and eldest young lady have enmity? Suddenly, Elder Baikue and Elder Zijin walked over slowly with 10 youths behind them. Elder Baikue and Elder Zijin were administering an assessment for the new young talents previously. About 200 people participated, but only these 10 people truly passed the assessment. Moreover, Elder Baikue realized that the massacre bloodline energy was activated in the body of one of the youths, and it was extremely impressive. Once the assessment ended, Elder Bai Kuei and Elder Zijin wanted to bring these newly recruited disciples to Yi Qingtang and introduce that youth with the massacre bloodline to Yi Qingtang. Yet, they just returned to the Yi residence and was faced with this situation. Yunshao sect. The 10 youths behind Elder Bai Kuei and Elder Zijin had strange expressions. That Yunshao sect actually came to cause trouble to the Yi family. Were they tired of living? Half-step Yin-Yang perfected lords came to the Yi family to stir trouble and wanted to capture a Yang lord. They were truly exposing themselves to ridicule when such a matter was made known to others. Bai Kuei. Formidable Heavens Dynasty. Grand Imperial Sire. Elder Gu was extremely startled after seeing Bai Kuei. Daoist Zijin. Elder Yin's expression changed greatly when his eyes landed on Daoist Zijin. Regardless of Bai Kuei or Daoist Zijin, both were renowned powerful figures of this mainland. Especially Bai Kuei, not only was he the Grand Imperial Sire of Formidable Heavens Dynasty, his martial skills were almost the best, for he possessed a cultivation base of Yin-Yang perfected Lord Third Heaven. Chapter 1032 So what if it's Yunshao sect? 4. The 2 Yunshao sect elders were dumbfounded as they looked at Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin in disbelief. Why did the 2 renowned powerful figures of this mainland suddenly appear in the Yi family? Even until then, Elder Gu and Elder Yin were still unaware of what exactly had happened in the Yi family, and everything that happened was already beyond their comprehension. How do you intend to settle these 2 people? Daoist Zijin looked at Bai Kuei and asked. Upon hearing that, Bai Kuei waved a hand. You should ask eldest young lady. The 2 Yin-Yang perfected lords of Yunshao sect came to the Yi residence to capture eldest young lady and offended the Yi family. I think there's no need to ask eldest young lady about these kinds of matters. Let's just put them to death, Daoist Zijin said. As they heard that Daoist Zijin wanted to execute the 2 of them, Elder Gus and Elder Yin's expression changed drastically. Even until then, Elder Gu and Elder Yin still did not know what happened exactly and why the situation developed to this stage. What do you think, Clan Master? Elder Zijin looked at Yi Ling and asked. Yi Ling pondered for a moment and subsequently said, these 2 Yunshao sect elders are audacious. Let's execute them as Elder Zijin had suggested. If it was in the past, Yi Ling would not even have dared to think about this. However, the current Yi family was worlds apart from before, and a mere Yunshao sect was nothing to them. Both Elder Yin and Elder Gu were completely dumbfounded. They simply could not understand the drastic change in the Yi family that seemed to happen in a night. Not only did the Yi family have plenty of insanely talented young disciples, but Formidable Heavens Dynasty's Grand Imperial Sire, Bai Kuei, and Daoist Zijin even became elders as well. With just the skills of Elder Bai Kuei and Elder Yin, it was enough to contend against Yunshao sect. It was also to say that the current Yi family was simply no weaker than Yunshao sect. Apart from the foundation of the 2 parties, the quality of the Yi family disciples surpassed that of Yunshao sect by leaps and bounds, and the cultivation skills of Yunshao sect master might lose out to Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin as well. When Daoist Zijin waved his right arm, Elder Gai and Elder Yin turned into dust before everyone's eyes. As the Great Elder and Second Elder watched the 2 Yunshao sect elders disappear, their expressions changed. Even though the current Yi family was extremely powerful, the inherent mindset of the past still made them feel as though they were in a dream. Looking at the Yi family disciples, they were extremely calm as though everything was deserved and right. After the 2 Yunshao sect elders died, Yi Qingtang finally appeared and came to the field. She did not even have the thought of showing herself to 2 mere Yunshao sect elders. Eldest young lady. Elder Bai Kuei greeted respectfully when he noticed Yi Qingtang. Greetings, eldest young lady. The branch masters and Yin-Yang perfected lord of the Sea family bowed hurriedly. The young talents present all looked towards Yi Qingtang in admiration. This is, the Yang Lord. The batch of disciples that Elder Bai Kuei brought over looked at Yi Qingtang with eyes filled with surprise and disbelief. The lady before them was not much older than them and simply seemed like the same age, yet she was already a young lord of a yin-yang perfected lord seventh heaven. Chapter 1033 Return to the Sect. 1. Naturally, no one dared to voice their doubts. From today onward, the Yi family will wage war against Yunshao sect. I want Yunshao sect to cease to exist. Yi Qingtang declared. Yi Ling and the second elder were startled. Yi Qingtang actually planned to annihilate Yunshao sect. However, given the combat powers of a Yang Lord, it was an easy feat to annihilate Yunshao sect. Although a sect like Yunshao sect had extremely powerful foundations, given Yi Qingtang's Yang Lord combat power, it was not impossible to completely destroy Yunshao sect. Currently, the Yi family was already strong enough, and Xianling sect came to mind. To completely wipe out Xianling sect, which had a strong foundation, time was required. The pressing matter at the moment was to head to Xianling sect and rescue it from Yunshao sect. Furthermore, it was time to settle the scores with Yunshao sect. After the trip to the Dragon Vein, Yi Qingtang's martial realm entered the Yang Lord of the Yin-Yang perfected Lord, and she could easily rescue Xianling sect without using the power of her bloodline. However, it was not simple to annihilate Yunshao sect. Although Yunshao sect did not have any Yang Lords, a sect's foundation was extremely powerful. For example, in the battle between Xianling sect and Yunshao sect's skills surpassed that of Xianling sect massively, but Xianling sect could still inflict huge damage by relying on its heritage and foundation. Even an ordinary sect like Xianling sect had such frightening foundation, much less Yunshao sect, a super sect. Eldest young lady, with those Yunshao sect senior members, there is nothing to be afraid of. It's just that we are unclear of Yunshao sect's foundation and heritage. Daoist Zijin looked at Yi Qingtang and said. Yi Qingtang was fully aware of this point without Daoist Zijin's reminder as well. Given the Yin-Yang perfected Lord third heaven cultivation base of Daoist Zijin and Bai Kuei, they could defeat Yunshao sect's Grand Elder and Sect Master. However, once Yunshao sect used their foundation and went all out, the outcome would be uncertain. To completely destroy Yunshao sect, it was probably insufficient with just Bai Kuei, Daoist Zijin, and the new Yin-Yang perfected lords who joined the Yi family. Eldest young lady, I'm afraid you will also need to be present to annihilate Yunshao sect. Elder Bai Kuei looked at Yi Qingtang and said. Yi Qingtang nodded slightly. After discussing the details with Elder Bai Kuei and the rest, Yi Qingtang departed from Lin Town and flew towards Xianling sect. Currently, the little white tigers seemed to be growing, thus, it was still in a deep sleep. As such, Yi Qingtang left it at the Yi family and did not bring it along with her. Given Yi Qingtang's current speed, she had already arrived at the periphery of Xianling sect in less than half a day. The sect, which was originally floating in the sky, however, landed on the ground, and the entire sect was enveloped by a faint golden screen. This screen was initially set up by the Blood Moon Holy Lord and could sustain for only half a year. Presently, this screen was no longer as strong as initially, and its light was increasingly dimming. Several Yunshao sect disciples guarded the surroundings of Xianling sect. Once this screen broke, they would notify the senior members of the sect immediately and wipe out Xianling sect without sparing anyone. Quickly look. That lady. Chapter 1034 Return to the Sect. 2. One of the Yunshao sect disciples was a little surprised to see Yi Qingtang walking towards Xianling sect slowly. Why is that lady so familiar looking? Before long, another Yunshao sect disciple exclaimed in shock. Yi Qingtang. Although these Yunshao sect disciples had never seen Yi Qingtang face to face, they had seen her portrait before. That Yi Qingtang appeared in the hell of Avicenaraka mystic realm previously and even obtained a fiend celestial beast. Quick, inform the higher-ups. A Yunshao sect disciple's eyes were burning with desire. Although Yi Qingtang is only an ordinary disciple of Xianling sect, she was enraged our Yunshao sect and was listed on the assassination roll. Hehe, I never thought that my luck would be so good. A male in white stared at Yi Qingtang, and his lips curled into an icy snicker. Yi Qingtang's skull is indeed valuable. However, it said that Yi Qingtang obtained the fiend celestial beast in the hell of Avisanaraka mystic realm. If we kill her and end up not being able to find the fiend celestial beast, wouldn't the sect not forgive us? Another man spoke up. Humph. What about that? Let's just break Yi Qingtang's limbs and keep her alive on her last breath. Wait. A fiend celestial beast is very scary, and Yi Qingtang obtained it. No matter how weak Yi Qingtang's martial skills are, she still possesses the fiend celestial beast. Would we be able to block the attack of the fiend celestial beast? Hehe, what are you afraid of? That fiend celestial beast is merely an infant. That's right. How lethal can it be if it could be taken by a Xianling sect disciple? There's nothing to be fearful of. Then, the few of them immediately rushed towards Yi Qingtang without hesitation. Stop! The youth in the lead stared at Yi Qingtang and shouted coldly. Upon hearing that, Yi Qingtang stopped in her tracks slightly and looked at the men before her. You are Yi Qingtang. The man in the lead sneered. That's right. There were no emotions on Yi Qingtang's face. You're a lady, but I never thought that you would be so bold. The Yunshao sect disciples snickered and the lady before them admitted her identity so simply. Back when Yi Qingtang was in Xianling sect, she was merely an ordinary inner sect disciple, but she formed a deep hatred with Yunshao sect and was listed on the assassination roll. After such a long time, Yi Qingtang reappeared outside Xianling sect, and this was a great thing for the Yunshao sect disciples. Yi Qingtang, if you are sensible, hand over that infant fiend celestial beast, and we can consider sparing your life. What do you think? One of the Yunshao sect disciples looked at Yi Qingtang and sneered. However, before this Yunshao sect disciple could continue speaking, Yi Qingtang raised her right arm a little, and the disciple died instantly without anyone seeing how Yi Qingtang did it. The remaining Yunshao sect disciples were left dumbstruck and in disbelief. To these Yunshao sect disciples, Yi Qingtang's attack was too quick, and they simply did not see how Yi Qingtang attacked. Without giving the people a chance to speak, Yi Qingtang slaughtered all the Yunshao sect disciples in the surroundings in just the blink of an eye. These disciples were already at the peak of martial qi level 2/3 heaven, and it was considered pretty good. Yet, before Yi Qingtang, they were as frail as pieces of paper. Chapter 1035 Return to the Sect, 3. After killing all the ignorant Yunshao sect disciples, Yi Qingtang's eyes slowly landed on the defense barrier around Xianling sect. This barrier was implemented by her cheap little brother, the Blood Moon Holy Lord, whom she was extremely grateful for. Had he not appeared in the end back then, even Yi Qingtang would be uncertain of how the situation would have progressed. What she could be certain of, though, was that Xianling sect definitely would not have persisted until today. In Xianling sect, there were Yi Qingtang's good friends such as Qin Huan and Yun Shu, her master, Elder Mo, as well as Elder Qin, who treated her rather well. However, it was a pity that the Grand Elder was no longer here today. Yi Qingtang did not have any hatred toward the Grand Elder. From a certain aspect, the Grand Elder was even more authentic and human. In Xianling sect, Qin Huan, Yun Shu, and others were gathered in a corner. It had been several months since they had been trapped in Xianling sect. The blood-colored screen above Xianling sect gradually dimmed and was staunchly different from its initial state. Moreover, the masses trapped in Xianling sect were almost running out of supplies. The Xianling sect disciples and senior executives had been taking their food and drinks from within Xianling sect, and all of the stockpiles were stored previously. However, these supplies were almost depleted after nearly half a year, and there were barely any water sources remaining. Currently, the disciples in Xianling's sect did not even have water to clean themselves with, much less have food to fill their stomachs. About a month ago, a few Xianling sect disciples took the risk and left the barrier formation, wanting to avoid the Yunshao sect disciples and search for water. However, they were discovered eventually and died in the hands of the Yunshao sect disciples. As sect disciples, they could bear with not having water to wash up. However, not consuming food over a long time was not what they could withstand given their martial cultivation realm. Compared to the Xianling sect disciples, the elders and senior executives were naturally much more powerful in terms of martial cultivation, and thus, their need for food was much smaller. Although the elders and senior executives had already taken out their own food and distributed to the disciples, it was still unable to solve this critical situation. Many Xianling sect disciples were nearing the borders of insanity due to the lack of water and food. Yet despite so, no one dared to leave the defense barrier ever since those Xianling sect disciples who left it were tragically killed by the Yunshao sect people. Ah, Qin Huan looked at the pale Yun Shu beside him and sighed. I wonder how junior sister Yi is doing. At the mention of Yi Qingtang, Yun Shu and Lin Long opened their eyes instantly. The few of them missed Yi Qingtang dearly, but they were trapped within Xianling's sect for almost half a year and simply could not get any information from the outside world. Junior sister Yi will definitely be fine, Lin Long said. Qin Huan shook his head. That may not be so. I heard that junior sister Yi was listed onto the assassination roll by Yunshao sect. It said that the rewards surpassed the total rewards for killing the first and third person on the list. Qin Huan, can't you wish some good for junior sister Yi? Gu Yanqiu rolled his eyes at Qin Huan and said helplessly. Nonsense. Of course, I wish for junior sister Yi to be safe and sound, but what I said is the truth. Junior sister Yi treated Yunshao sect that way previously and caused Yunshao sect to lose face. In addition to such tempting rewards, I'm afraid junior sister Yi is having a hard time. Chapter 1036 Pray. The few of them were extremely worried about Yi Qingtang as well. The war between Xianling sect and Yunshao sect was extremely horrific. Although the Blood Moon sect appeared afterward, the ultimate elder suddenly showed up too, thus causing Xianling sect to be in this state. However, if Yi Qingtang did not appear as the Blood Moon Holy Lady, Xianling sect would probably have been annihilated by Yunshao sect already. Don't worry. Junior sister Yi is a dignified Blood Moon Holy Lady. Blood Moon sect is such a strong force. How can anything happen to junior sister Yi? Yun Shu said. Although the Blood Moon sect is powerful, it is the enemy of this entire mainland. It is an evil cult. Qin Huan said hurriedly. Upon hearing that, some miserable-looking Xianling sect disciples fixed their eyes on Qin Huan successively. If there was no Yi Qingtang or evil cult as mentioned by Qin Huan, they would have already become corpses a long time ago and not talking as they were right now. Without the Blood Moon sect, we would have been dead already, Lin Long said. Qin Huan nodded without retort. His eyes landed on a tomb forest not far away as an inexplicable sorrow emerged on his face. In this half-year, the disciples who once fought for Xianling sect sustained heavy injuries and were unable to be treated by the outside world, eventually passing on. In the past, these brothers and sisters were not afraid of strong enemies, but in the end, they were unable to persist and could no longer see the rays of hope. Other than the Xianling sect disciples, there were several wardens and senior executives who were severely injured as well. In addition to this was the poor environment conditions which resulted in damage to their martial foundation, causing their martial skills to dip extensively. Unable to resolve this mental distress, they eventually fell into depression and died. At this instant, Elder Mo and Elder Qin arrived in the vicinity of the martial arts hall. Looking at the Xianling sect disciples who were lying on the ground and seated everywhere, they could not help but sigh. The sight of this dilapidated Xianling sect led them to recall the prosperity of the past. Greetings, sect master, and two elders. Seeing that the sect master and the elders arrived at the martial arts hall, the Xianling sect disciples hurriedly stood up and bowed at them. Noticing the situation, the Xianling sect master hurriedly waved his hands. "There's no need to bow. Quickly rest. Don't waste your energy." Looking at the scrawny and listless Xianling sect disciples and then recalling memories of them in the past, the sect master was in anguish. It was as though there were billions of needles poking at his heart. A long while later, Elder Qin and Elder Mo followed the Xianling sect master to a tomb forest ahead. There were hundreds of tombs in the forest. The bodies of a portion of them no longer existed since the war, thus, the sect could only build a tomb containing the personal effects of the deceased to mourn those valiant Xianling sect disciples who died in the battle. At the same time, Qin Huan, Yun Shu, and many other disciples followed the sect master to the tomb forest. "Brothers, we are here to visit you." Many Xianling sect disciples immediately kneeled and bowed before the tombs. Looking at these nameless tombs, it was as though they returned to the night before the Great War. Everyone drank and chatted together and learned from each other before the bonfire. It was as if those voices and faces never left. The battle cry seemed to ring in their ears again at this very moment. "We use our blood to soak Zunling's flag. We use our hearts to light Zunling's anger. We use our hands to hit Zunling's drums." Chapter 1037 Sect Protector Divine Beast. The battle cries still seemed to echo in their ears. Those long-gone faces and familiar bodies were imprinted in the minds of the masses eternally and would never be erased. Sometime later, the Xianling sect master slowly kneeled beside the countless graves. Noticing the situation, Elder Mo, Elder Qin, and the Xianling sect disciples fell on their knees successively and bowed to those heroes who protected the sect with their lives. "Junior brother Zhou!" A shout erupted suddenly. Everyone quickly turned around and looked behind. A young man who was all stick and bones completely fainted when he bowed. Noticing the situation, Elder Qin rushed forward hurriedly and held up that young man who was void of color. After inspecting for a moment, he sighed softly. This young Xianling sect disciple was yet another victim of the lack of food supplied. He had not consumed anything for too long, and his martial realm was insufficient from the start, which caused him to faint from hunger. The current Xianling sect was already depleted of all supplies, and the river was all dried up. There no longer was any consumables in the sect. A cultivator and ordinary human was different in that a cultivator's need for food would gradually decrease as their martial realm improved. However, these sect disciples had not reached that stage yet. Moreover, the body would not be replenished if it did not consume anything for a long time, and this would also pose as a life danger over the long run. "I remember, the sect still has a few spirit animals." A long time later, Xianling sect master looked at Elder Qin and said. Elder Qin and Elder Mo nodded instinctively. There were indeed a few old spirit animals remaining in the sect. They had rendered their highest service in battles for the sect and were fed and taken care of for the rest of their lifetimes by the sect after they aged. "Don't worry, sect master. The spirit animals can barely absorb the spirit energy in the surroundings and don't need to consume anything at the moment," said Elder Mo as he thought the sect master was afraid that the spirit animals would die from hunger. However, resolution filled the sect master's eyes as he said, "Kill them." "What?" The two elders and everyone else at the scene were taken aback by what the Xianling sect master had said. "Distribute the flesh and blood of the spirit animals to our sect disciples. As long as they can hold out an additional day." Xianling sect master seemed to age by dozens of years in an instant. "But, sect master, for the sect, those spirit animals once," Elder Qin's body trembled slightly. One of the spirit animals had been in Xianling sect for a longer time than he did and was even older than him. "Elder Qin. I understand what you wish to say." Xianling sect master nodded. At this moment, the middle-aged man seemed like an elderly who was about to pass on, and his voice quivered. But, these kids, are all about to die from hunger. Is there any other solution? Xianling sect master uttered. Indeed, if there was still no food, how much longer could these sect disciples withhold? Was it 1 day or 1 month? Even if you were to become a sinner of Xianling sect, the Xianling sect master could not bear for these disciples to end up dying from hunger or thirst. As a cultivator, they could die from battles, but how could they die from hunger? At this moment, the disciples were dead silent as well. They did not know what to say, and even if they wanted to, they were almost out of energy. However, before Xianling sect master could continue to say something, a terrifying roar sounded from outside the sect. An enormous creature hovered above Xianling sect completely. Above that enormous creatures were a number of Yunshao sect elders and senior executives. Yunshao sect. Sect Protector Divine Beast. Chapter 1038. It's you. 1. Everyone was startled and even in disbelief when they saw the giant creature outside Xianling sect. After the Yunshao sect Protector Divine Beast was injured by the Blood Moon Holy Lord, it was sent back to Yunshao sect to recuperate. Unexpectedly, it was actually this powerful now. The past Yunshao sect Protector Divine Beast and the current one were simply worlds apart. Once spirit animals like these advanced in level, their skills would increase massively. The Yunshao sect Protector Divine Beast, actually advanced in level. Surprise etched across Elder Mo's face as he looked at the giant creature shrouding over the entire sect. Back then, the Yunshao sect Protector Divine Beast was only an equivalent of a human half-step yin-yang perfected lord, but after the advancement, its combat power paralleled that of a human yin-yang perfected lord second heaven. Boom! Deafening rumbles followed with every movement the sect Protector Divine Beast took. The already dim red screen above Xianling sect became even fainter and was completely broken after a few hits. The energy of that defense barrier was already mostly exhausted from the start. Now that the advanced Yunshao sect Protector Beast arrived and attacked the defense barrier with the combat power of a yin-yang perfected lord, it was reasonable that the barrier broke. Previously, after Yunshao sect learned that Yi Qingtang appeared nearby Xianling sect, the sect elders immediately rushed over with the sect Protector Divine Beast, which just advanced not long ago. However, after arriving at Xianling sect, they realized that the Yunshao sect disciples guarding in the area were all dead, and Yi Qingtang was nowhere to be found. Enraged, the Yunshao sect elders decided to destroy Xianling sect completely first and believed that Yi Qingtang would not be able to continue hiding. However, just as the defense barrier was broken, a shadow suddenly appeared in the sky at lightning speed. In just a few breaths' time, it had already reached the Yunshao sect Protector Divine Beast and blocked it. The Xianling sect members were surprised, especially Elder Mo, who thought that the figure was very familiar after close inspection. That is Junior Sister Yi. Yun Shu looked at the lady in the air who blocked the Yunshao sect Protector Beast, and his expression changed immediately. Hearing Yun Shu, everyone took a closer look at the lady and was startled. It was indeed as Yun Shu had said. Who else could that lady be if it was not Yi Qingtang? Qingtang, very quickly, Elder Mo stared at the lady in the sky and uttered in surprise. Wasn't that lady his disciple, Yi Qingtang? The Xianling sect members were all dumbfounded for a moment. Why did Yi Qingtang suddenly appear here? Roar! The Yunshao sect Protector Divine Beast glared at the miniature ant-like human who stood in its way and roared in fury. Yi Qingtang! The Yunshao sect elders on the back of the sect Protector Divine Beast stared at Yi Qingtang, and a trace of elation emerged in their eyes. It seems that the information was true. Yi Qingtang had indeed returned to Xianling sect. Everyone was already aware that Yi Qingtang obtained a fiend celestial beast in the hell of Avicenaraka mystic realm, and her appearance meant that the infant fiend celestial beast was also in the vicinity. If their Yunshao sect could obtain that fiend celestial beast and offer it to the Baiming Manor, wouldn't their Yunshao sect Chapter 1039 It's you, too, Yi Qingtang, it's indeed you. A Yunshao sect elder looked at Yi Qingtang and scoffed. Yi Qingtang did not react to him and merely unsheathed a sword from her waist. Ha ha ha, seeing that Yi Qingtang drew a sword out, the few Yunshao sect elders on the back of the sect protector divine beast immediately burst out in laughter. Could it be that this Yi Qingtang still wanted to put up a last fight with them? Swoosh! Nonetheless, before the Yunshao sect elders finished laughing, the smiles were completely frozen on their faces as disbelief and horror filled their eyes. As Yi Qingtang waved her sword, the frightening aura of a young lord surged into the sky, and the sword aura completely enveloped the Yunshao sect protector divine beast. Sensing this unbelievable aura, even the Yunshao sect protector divine beast trembled. Boom boom. A loud roar erupted in the next second. Before the shocked Xianling sect masses, the enormous body of the sect protector divine beast instantly erupted into mists of blood, and the several Yunshao sect elders died along with it at the scene. After slaughtering the Yunshao sect protector divine beast and Yunshao sect elders with one slash, Yi Qingtang immediately turned around and landed in Xianling sect. At this instant, Xianling sect was enshrouded in the supreme energy of a Yang Lord, and those disciples with weak pulses and even those who fainted from hunger were immediately energized. Junior Sister Yi. Qin Huan and the rest were stunned and they saw Yi Qingtang descending from the sky. Was this lady who was brimming with a Yang Lord energy really Yi Qingtang? It had been less than half a year since they were separated from Yi Qingtang, and she had already become one of the few powerful Yang Lords of this mainland in this period of time. Qingtang. Similarly, Elder Mo found this hard to swallow. No matter what, Elder Mo could not believe that Yi Qingtang had actually grown this much in less than half a year. Master, it's been long. I'm late. Yi Qingtang looked at Elder Mo and bowed with cupped fists. Back then in Xianling sect, she took Elder Mo as her master, and he treated her pretty well. Naturally, Yi Qingtang would not forget him. A whole 10 minutes later, Elder Mo finally returned to his senses and nodded rather absent-mindedly. Are you really Yi Qingtang? Elder Qin was clearly shaken as he looked at the lady before him. A Yang Lord was someone whose martial cultivation base was at least at Yin Yang perfected Lord 7th Heaven, an absolutely unrivaled figure on this mainland. Not mentioning a Yang Lord, it would also be unbelievable for Elder Qin even if Yi Qingtang showed up as Yin Lord. It's me. Yi Qingtang nodded in agreement. Shit, Qin Huan walked to Yi Qingtang's side and inspected Yi Qingtang closely. How can this be? Junior Sister Yi, you're actually. Could it be that I'm hallucinating because I'm too hungry? Yi Qingtang was speechless. However, it was not strange for Qin Huan to say such things given his personality. Senior brother Qin, it really is me, affirmed Yi Qingtang. But. Young Lord. This is, Qin Huan and the rest found it hard to believe at the moment. However, Yi Qingtang did not wish to discuss this matter too much as it was not something that could be explained clearly in a few sentences after all. Seeing that Yi Qingtang was unwilling to talk about it, everyone understood what to do and no longer mentioned it. Yi Qingtang immediately retrieved plenty of food and water from her space ring and told Qin Huan and the rest to distribute them. Chapter 1040 It's you, 3, there were not many Xianling sect disciples remaining currently. Although the water and food Yi Qingtang brought from the Yi family was not considered a lot, it was still sufficient to solve the crisis. Long before she headed to Xianling sect, she had already realized this issue, thus, she prepared some supplies in a separate space ring. After all, the past Yi Qingtang was also a Xianling sect disciple, and she had some understanding of Xianling sect. It had been almost half a year since Xianling sect was trapped by Yunshao sect, and the stored supplies in the sect were probably already depleted. Elder Mo had complicated feelings as he looked at Yi Qingtang. He would never have thought that his disciple actually became a supreme young lord of this mainland in less than 6 months. Even if he told others this, probably no one would believe that he was the master of a young lord. Xianling sect master was extremely startled to see Yi Qingtang. Even a strong force like Yunshao sect was as weak as an ant before a young lord. Yi Qingtang sighed softly as she looked at the current dilapidated Xianling sect. Apart from food and water, she also took out numerous elixirs from her space ring to distribute out to everyone. These elixirs could temper the body and be extremely beneficial even to an ordinary yin-yang perfected lord. If cultivators at the martial qi stage consumed it, the effects would be multiplied. After consuming the supplies that Yi Qingtang brought, their complexion was way better than before, and after consuming her elixirs, they were full of vigor in at most an hour. It's truly a magic pill. My body did not have any energy before, but now, even if a fierce tiger came, I feel that I can kill it with one punch, Qin Huan commented excitedly. Master, sect master, let the disciples recuperate first, then, rebuild Xianling sect later on, Yi Qingtang said after a long time. Xianling sect master nodded. This was what he hoped for the most. Even in his dreams, he wished to rebuild Xianling sect. Qingtang, can you prevent Yunshao sect from attacking Xianling sect during Xianling sect's reconstruction? Xianling sect master looked at Yi Qingtang and asked in an almost pleading tone. Yi Qingtang was currently a young lord, and as long as she was willing, Xianling sect could be rebuilt easily, and only Yi Qingtang was able to stop Yunshao sect. Read latest chapters at Wuxia World. Cite only, what are you saying, sect master? A Xianling sect disciple for a day is a Xianling sect disciple for life, Yi Qingtang said. The Xianling sect master was a little agitated after hearing Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang immediately took out some items which she obtained from the mystic realm and handed them all to the sect master. Apart from the numerous weapons and elixirs, there were also talismans that could help with the reconstruction of Xianling sect. Master, sect master, don't worry about Yunshao sect. Now that I'm back, I will definitely destroy and obliterate all traces of Yunshao sect. Yi Qingtang looked at Elder Mo and Xianling sect master and said. Alright, Elder Mo nodded. His disciple was now a young lord, and annihilating Yunshao sect could be easily done. Qingtang, Xianling sect is fortunate to have you. Xianling sect master looked at Yi Qingtang and said. Chapter 1041 Who is afraid of who? 1. If not for Yi Qingtang, Xianling sect would probably already have been annihilated by Yunshao sect half a year ago. Yi Qingtang did not reply. Her eyes were devoid of warmth as she looked at the countless tombs in the surroundings. She would personally take revenge for these disciples who died tragically. Yi Qingtang left after staying in Xianling sect for a day, and she was at the imperial city the next time she appeared. Yunshao sect was located within the imperial city of Formidable Heavens dynasty. Eldest young lady. Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin greeted Yi Qingtang with reverence outside the imperial city. All the senior members of the Yi family were dispatched in this operation. The 7 yin-yang perfected lords, including Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin, as well as the disciples were all present. Yi Qingtang had made up her mind to destroy Yunshao sect completely this time no matter what it took. Alright. Yi Qingtang swept her eyes across the army of people. Excluding herself, this force of the Yi family was sufficient to overpower Yunshao sect substantially. Currently, Yunshao sect had not warred against the Yi family but already had heavy losses. 5 elders were killed by Yi Qingtang, and even Yunshao sect's most important combat force, the sect protector Divine Beast, was also slain by Yi Qingtang. Eldest young lady, do you still need to make any preparations? Daoist Zijin looked at Yi Qingtang and asked. No, said Yi Qingtang. A mere Yunshao sect did not have any qualifications to make her prepare anything. Although Yunshao sect's foundation was strong, it posed no threat to a young lord no matter how strong it was. Moreover, Yi Qingtang would not give Yunxiao's sect any time or chance to activate their foundation. At this instant, a group of guards at the imperial city saw Yi Qingtang and the rest and originally wanted to stop them. However, after seeing Bai Kuei, all of them were dumbfounded, and no longer had any intention to stop them. Visit website Our List Novel. Bai Kuei was Formidable Heaven's dynasty's Grand Imperial Sire and a yin-yang perfected Lord Third Heaven figure. Once the guards returned to their senses and wanted to greet the Grand Imperial Sire, they realized that the troop of people had already entered the Imperial City and were nowhere to be seen. About 15 minutes later, Elder Bai Kuei led Yi Qingtang to the periphery of the Imperial City. Right ahead was Yunxiao's sect. Although a super sect like Yunxiao's sect had nothing to do with the Formidable Heavens dynasty, it was situated within the Imperial City, and thus, Elder Bai Kuei knew something about it. Although Yunxiao's sect's foundation is powerful, it is nothing to you, eldest young lady. However, it said that one of their sect protector divine beast seemed to have advanced recently, and its combat power is rather high, Elder Bai Kuei said. I have already killed that sect protector divine beast, said Yi Qingtang. Elder Bai Kuei nodded and was not surprised at all. No matter how powerful that Yunxiao's sect protector divine beast was, it was as weak as a piece of paper before a young lord and could be easily killed without much effort. A cold glint flashed across Yi Qingtang's eyes as she looked at Yunxiao's sect ahead. Swoosh! Numerous Yi family war flags flew in the air. Kill! Daoist Zijin shouted sternly. Along with Daoist Zijin's orders, countless powerful auras surged to the sky and instantly enveloped Yunxiao's sect in them. Chapter 1042 Who is afraid of who? 2. Sensing the aura of the Yi family powerful figures, the senior members and wardens of Yunxiao's sect were alarmed. Who is so daring to behave unmannerly at my Yunxiao sect? A warden instantly flew out of Yunxiao's sect and yelled sternly. This Yunxiao sect warden's eyes were ice cold. He had been at Yunxiao's sect for a long time and never once thought that there would be anyone who dared to act wildly at the doorsteps of Yunxiao's sect. The Yunxiao sect warden was startled when he saw the Yi family war flags. This war flag appeared very foreign, and he did not know which force these people were from. Who are you all? Report your names. How dare you all behave so wildly at the doorsteps of my Yunxiao sect? The Yunxiao sect warden looked at Yi Qingtang and the rest and shouted sternly. Bai Kuei. Elder Bai Kuei stepped forward and said coldly. Upon hearing that, the Yunxiao sect warden frowned slightly. When he saw Bai Kuei's face clearly, he was taken aback and extremely astounded. As a Yunxiao sect warden, it was impossible for him to not know the Formidable Heavens dynasty's Grand Imperial Sire, the most powerful cultivator of Formidable Heavens dynasty with a horrifying combat power of a yin-yang perfected Lord Third Heaven. Formidable Heavens dynasty Grand Imperial Sire. Very quickly, the Yunxiao sect warden frowned as he looked at Elder Bai Kuei. Grand Imperial Sire Bai Kuei, what is the meaning of this? Although Bai Kuei was the Grand Imperial Sire of Formidable Heavens dynasty, he never had any enmity with Yunxiao sect. Not mentioning this Grand Imperial Sire, Yunxiao sect and Formidable Heavens dynasty had always minded their own businesses without interfering with the other. It thus seemed unacceptable that the Formidable Heavens dynasty's Grand Imperial Sire brought so many cultivators and behaved this way at the doorsteps of Yunxiao sect. As he spoke, 10+ wardens and several elders rushed out of Yunxiao sect. Bai Kuei, our Yunxiao sect and the Formidable Heavens dynasty never had anything to do with each other. What is the meaning of your actions today? An elderly with white hair shouted coldly at Bai Kuei. The person who spoke was Yunxiao sect's great elder, Zhou Tian. He was at the peak of yin-yang perfected Lord Second Heaven and was considered acquaintances with Bai Kuei. Zhou Tian, I am not here today as the Grand Imperial Sire of Formidable Heavens dynasty, Bai Kuei snickered as he looked at that elderly. After hearing that, the Yunxiao sect great elder frowned deeply as he did not understand what Bai Kuei meant. Regardless of what identity Bai Kuei was assuming to challenge the Yunshao sect, given Yunshao sect's foundation, they were not the least afraid even if the entire formidable Heavens Dynasty royals attacked them, much less Bai Kuei. Humph. The Grand Elders of Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect are here at Yunshao sect as visitors. If you know what's good for you, leave now. Yunshao sect can treat it as though nothing happened today. The Yunshao sect Great Elder looked at Bai Kuei impatiently. Kill. Nonetheless, Bai Kuei did not bother as he raised his right arm and shouted coldly. As Elder Bai Kuei gave his orders, the Yin-Yang perfected lords of the Yi family immediately charged towards the Yunshao sect wardens and elders. Noticing the situation, the talented Yi family disciples smirked. One of the youths at half-step Yin-Yang perfected Lord Realm snickered. I've heard that Yunshao sect is arrogant and conceited, but I never thought that it would be to this extent. Brothers and sisters, let's show Yunshao sect what disparity is. Kill. In a moment, hundreds of talented disciples flexed their muscles, drew their weapons, and attacked Yunshao sect. Chapter 1043 Who is afraid of who? 3. Noticing the situation, the Yunshao sect Great Elder was stunned and was even in disbelief. Originally, he thought that Bai Kuei would definitely not dare to really take action, yet currently. You have a death wish. The Yunshao sect wardens hollered furiously and slashed their swords at the Yin-Yang perfected lords charging towards them. A warden's eyes were filled with malice and evil as he attacked a branch master of the Yi family. That branch master joined the Yi family not long ago, but he was extremely skilled. His energy and aura were overwhelming and even more powerful than ordinary Yin-Yang perfected lords, which was why Yi Qingtang specially appointed him as a branch master. Boom, boom. In the next second, the Yunshao sect warden's sword landed on the branch master's left shoulder. However, at this instant, the Yunshao sect warden was appalled. When his sword landed on this person, it was as though he was slashing extremely hard metal. The Yi family branch master was unharmed, and the Yunshao sect warden's hand numbed instead. Do you only have this little strength? The Yi family branch master looked at the Yunshao sect warden and immediately stretched his neck. How disappointing. You, the Yunshao sect warden was infuriated. However, after sensing the aura of this middle-aged man before him, he was instantly dumbfounded, and his eyes widened. Yin-Yang. Perfected Lord. This Yunshao sect warden never thought that this plain-looking middle-aged man would actually be a Yin-Yang perfected lord. Die. The Yi family branch master shouted coldly and gently slashed the Yunshao sect warden's neck using his palm as a knife. In an instant, the Yunshao sect warden's skull flew to the sky while his headless body staggered a few steps before falling to the ground. He was breathless in no time and died. Yin-Yang perfected lord, also a Yin-Yang perfected lord, how can it be? The ordinary elders and wardens of Yunshao sect paled after sensing the aura of the powerful figures of the Yi family. There were several Yin-Yang perfected lords among the cultivators that Bai Kuei brought over. There were only a few Yin-Yang perfected lords in Yunshao sect. Get lost. The Yunshao sect Great Elder yelled angrily and focused power in his fingertip to force a Yin-Yang perfected lord to retreat. The Yunshao sect Great Elder had already reached the peak of a Yin-Yang perfected lord's second heaven, and it was simply impossible for an ordinary Yin-Yang perfected lord to fight against him. Zhou Tian, let me play with you. Suddenly, Daoist Zijin leaped out and instantly turned into fast shadows that intersected and overlapped each other in the air so rapidly that one could not distinguish him with the naked eye. Daoist Zijin. The Yunshao sect Great Elder was astonished to see Daoist Zijin. Daoist Zijin was renowned and had a reputation in this mainland. However, why would he and the formidable Heavens Dynasty's Grand Imperial Sire Bai Kuei come here to fight against Yunshao sect? Humph. The Yunshao sect Great Elder sneered as his palm met Daoist Zijin's. Boom. A loud sound erupted as though the sky exploded. The Yunshao sect great elder retreated backward as blood seeped out from the corners of his mouth, clearly in the disadvantage from the one-palm confrontation with Daoist Zijin earlier. Chapter 1044 Skill 1. The Great Elder stared at the number of people in Bai Kuei's team and frowned heavily. There were at least 7 yin-yang perfected lords including Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin. Furthermore, both of their abilities had passed the third heaven of the yin-yang perfected lord. Though their force was extremely strong, there were guests from the Baiming Manor in the Yunshao sect today besides the Grand Elders from the Yuehua sect and the Lingyun sect. If Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin dared to attack them, they would definitely provoke the Baiming Manor. Yunshao sect belonged to the Baiming Manor. Bai Kuei, Daoist Zijin, the Yunshao sect has nothing to do with you. If you still want to challenge us, we will not hold back anymore. The great elder of Yunshao sect stared at the few yin-yang perfected lords and shouted coldly. Daoist Zijin scoffed and said, "Zhou Tian, what's the point of holding back when it has come to this situation? Furthermore, how will Yunshao sect care for us anyway?" You, the great elder of the Yunshao sect clenched his teeth tightly and wished that he could tear Daoist Zijin's skin. Boom! Suddenly, a few shadows rushed towards the crowds of wardens. Within a few breaths, a few wardens' heads were chopped off by branch masters of the Yi family. The great elder of the Yunshao sect was very strong but was weaker than Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin. He was about to run when he realized that the situation was not good for him. "Where do you want to go?" Bai Kuei scoffed and followed the great elder immediately. However, a few elders of the Yunshao sect immediately rushed forward to block Bai Kuei's way. "Get lost!" Bai Kuei shouted. Before anyone could realize what was going on, the few elders who were at half-step yin-yang perfected lord level were thrown out by Bai Kuei's aura. The great elder of the Yunshao sect fled into the Yunshao sect at the same time. Bai Kuei exchanged a glance with Daoist Zijin. There were many powerful people in the Yunshao sect. It was too risky for the two of them to break into Yunshao sect unless Yi Qingtang took the lead. However, Yi Qingtang was the strongest force of the Yi family. She could not just attack impulsively without the appearance of the main opponent. When Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin were discussing what they should do next, around 10 people walked out of the Yunshao sect under the great elder's lead. The 2 elders in white robe were the grand elders of the Yuehua sect and the Lingyun sect. They came to the Yunshao sect as they heard that guests from the Baiming Manor were here. However, the great elder of the Yunshao sect said that there were people here to find trouble with them. There was a middle-aged man in a purple robe standing there with prestige. A golden cloud was sewed on his chest area. The man was the sect master of the Yunshao sect. Bai Kuei, Daoist Zijin, are there any misunderstandings between the Yunshao sect and you? Why would you come here to find trouble with us? The sect master of the Yunshao sect looked at Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin and said indifferently. There were 7 yin-yang perfected lords in the crowd. You offended someone that you should never even try to provoke. The punishment will be the extermination of the Yunshao sect. Daoist Zijin scoffed and said. Chapter 1045 Skill 2. The sect master shouted in rage, "Bai Kuei, I respect you as the grand imperial sire of the formidable Heavens dynasty. For all these years, Yunshao sect had nothing to do with the formidable Heavens dynasty. You come here for death today. We come here for death." Bai Kuei stared at the Yunshao sect master and sneered. Who was the one that was going to die? Humph. An elder landed from mid-air and scoffed heavily. No one dared to offend us like this since the Yunshao sect was established a few hundred years ago. How dare you say that you want to exterminate my sect today? The Yunshao sect master nodded towards the elder, who was the grand elder of the Yunshao sect. He was at the peak of the third heaven of yin-yang perfected lord. Li Shihai, a cold glint flashed across Bai Kuei's eyes as he saw the Grand Elder of the Yunshao sect. When Bai Kuei was the crown prince of the formidable Heavens dynasty, Li Shihai was the sect master of the Yunshao sect. They had no interactions back then. However, around 10 years ago, a beloved lady of Bai Kuei was taken away by Li Shihai using some tricks. Though Bai Kuei and the lady was not married, to him, he resented Li Shihai for taking away his wife. After that, Bai Kuei became the emperor of the formidable Heavens dynasty, and Li Shihai became the sect master of Yunshao sect. After becoming the emperor, Bai Kuei took the responsibility of ruling the entire formidable Heavens dynasty. He could not just take his revenge from Li Shihai. Until today, I was still thinking who's here. Bai Kuei, based on your ability, what can you do to me? You could not do anything back then when you were the crown prince of formidable Heavens dynasty. Your beloved lady still came to me. I shall tell you here. Indeed, I used some tricks to get her. However, she killed herself not long after I got here. What can you do today even though you know all this? The Grand Elder of the Yunshao sect landed slowly and scoffed as he stared at Bai Kuei. The two Grand Elders of Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect had odd expressions. Though they were aware that the Grand Elder of the Yunshao sect was very arrogant, he should not reveal all the inhumane things he did in the past in front of everyone. It was fortunate that there were no disciples present. If not, his reputation, of course, Li Shihai never cared for his reputation. He only acted according to his own preferences. Li Shihai. You're seeking your own death. Bai Kuei's face was flushed, and veins could be seen on his forehead. Though Bai Kuei was at the age that he could resist all temptations, as a martial cultivator, the hatred he had could last forever. The main culprit who took away his wife dared to reveal everything again. Swoosh! Bai Kuei took out a purple black-grade divine weapon. As he waved his sword, the great aura of a yin-yang perfected lord rushed into the sky as if he was going to tear Li Shihai into pieces. The Grand Elder of Yunshao sect scorned. His body turned into a shadow, and he took out a simplistic sword from his space ring. At the next second, he was next to Bai Kuei. The two shadows were appearing everywhere as they fought against each other. However, Bai Kuei was disadvantaged within 10 attacks. Bai Kuei was at the third heaven of the yin-yang perfected lord. However, the Grand Elder of Yunshao sect was at the peak of third heaven of yin-yang perfected lord. Chapter 1046 Skill 3. It was lucky for Bai Kuei that he was able to last 10 attacks against the Grand Elder. He would be dreaming if he could beat the Grand Elder of Yunshao sect with his own ability. It seems like you don't even see me with your eyes. Daoist Zijin scoffed when he saw that Bai Kuei was not able to fight against the Grand Elder. He immediately came towards them and joined the fight together with Bai Kuei. Li Shihai, you're such a rotten asshole. Wait for my ruling gourd. Daoist Zijin took out a gourd and threw it into the air. The three of them were sucked in by the ruling gourd immediately. The gourd suddenly grew in size and became transparent. Everything happening inside could be seen clearly from outside. The ruling gourd was plucked from the ancient ruling tree on Tianquan Mountain. It's able to block all martial ability. Rotten asshole, don't dream to use any of your ability inside here. Daoist Zijin scorned. Everyone else was shocked as they heard his words. Such a terrifying Dharma treasure. The Grand Elder's expression changed as he could feel that all his martial ability in his body was disappearing. How come I feel that my martial ability is lost as well? Suddenly, Bai Kuei looked at Daoist Zijin, frowned, and asked. Of course, everyone's martial ability will be lost inside my ruling gourd, Daoist Zijin said. Bai Kuei nodded and asked, how about you? Same. Daoist Zijin explained. Bai Kuei's lips twitched. So what was the point for Daoist Zijin putting all of them inside the ruling gourd? then the two of you are pieces of junk as well. The Grand Elder of Yunshao sect laughed coldly. The two of us are good enough to beat you. Daoist Zijin scorned as well. Kill him. Daoist Zijin rushed towards the Grand Elder immediately. In other people's eyes, the two powerful yin-yang perfected lords now fought like gangsters without any martial ability. What are you waiting for? Daoist Zijin looked towards Bai Kuei as he fought against the Grand Elder. Bai Kuei did not hesitate and joined the fight. The two of them kicked and punched the Grand Elder heavily. Based on their third heaven of yin-yang perfected lord's ability, they would not able to beat the Grand Elder even if they combined their forces. The difference between the normal third heaven and the peak was huge. However, inside the gourd that restricted all martial ability, the three of them were just normal people. The consequences were clear when the two of them fought against a useless Grand Elder. Within a short while, the Grand Elder was injured heavily. His face was swollen under Daoist Zijin's and Bai Kuei's punches. The side with more people would, of course, have more advantages than the other side in the ruling gourd. Chapter 1047 Skill 4. Yi Qingtang's lips twitched a little as she witnessed the situation inside the gourd. This might be the most special fight she had seen between yin-yang perfected lords. It was almost impossible to find others who fought like Daoist Zijin and Bai Kuei in the world. They were no different from gangsters. There were no tricks. All their punches landed heavily on the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder cursed in rage inside the gourd as he wished to tear them into pieces. However, he could not defend himself at all. Occasionally, he managed to kick Daoist Zijin, but the kick seemed to have no effect. Buzz. Around half an hour later, a weird sound came out of the ruling gourd. The three of them were thrown out by the gourd as it returned to its original size. What happened? Bai Kuei asked. There is a time limitation to the ruling gourd. Apparently time's up. What a pity that we didn't manage to beat him to death, Daoist Zijin said. Though the Grand Elder was a piece of junk inside the ruling gourd, it was easy for the two of them to fight against him, but it was hard to kill him. The Grand Elder's injuries were all recovered without any traces after leaving the ruling gourd. As his martial ability was regained, the injuries from the punches would definitely be gone. It seems you have a death wish. After regaining his martial ability, the Grand Elder stared at Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin. As he shouted, the aura of the peak level of yin-yang perfected Lord Third Heaven exploded and surrounded the two of them. The Grand Elder turned into a shadow in the next second. He was so fast that he landed beside Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin within a split second. The three of them were engaged in the fight again. However, within a few breaths, Daoist Zijin and Bai Kuei were thrown out. Hee, how much hatred do you have towards me, Bai Kuei? I made you feel the greatest humiliation as a man. However, you cannot do anything to me. So heartbreaking. The Grand Elder scorned as he stared at Bai Kuei. A cold glint flashed across Yi Qingtang's eyes at that. She wished that Bai Kuei could settle this thing by himself previously. However, based on the current situation, Bai Kuei was not able to fight against the Grand Elder. Really? Yi Qingtang scorned. Yi Qingtang lifted her right arm slightly. Without realizing what was happening, the Grand Elder lost control of his body under a strong and irresistible force. The sect master of Yunshao sect was enraged. He did not feel the intense force from Yi Qingtang. He thought that it was just a junior brought by Bai Kuei. How dare you to speak up as a junior? You're seeking your own death. Before the Grand Elder was pulled to Yi Qingtang, the Yunshao sect master flew and smashed his palm towards her. How dare you? A few branch masters immediately surrounded Yi Qingtang and fought off the Yunshao sect master. The two Grand Elders of Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect frowned heavily as they witnessed the scene. Chapter 1048 Skill 5. The two of them rushed forward and forced the branch masters to step back with their strong martial aura. The Grand Elder of Yuehua sect sneered. Young people, do you know what respect is? If you apologize to the Yunshao sect and leave now, maybe we can spare your lives, the Grand Elder of Lingyun sect said. Grand Elders, you have nothing to do with what's going on here. Or do you want to be involved as well? Yi Qingtang stepped out to face the two Grand Elders. The two Grand Elders were shocked by the young lad's words. This young lady seems familiar. Have I seen her somewhere else? The Grand Elder of Yuehua sect looked at Yi Qingtang in surprise. Is she, the disciple of Xianling sect? The one who was so lucky to get the infant fiend celestial beast at the 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka? The Grand Elder of Lingyun sect sized up Yi Qingtang, and his eyes were filled with joy. They had seen drawings of Yi Qingtang before. The young lady in front of them must be the Xianling sect disciple Yi Qingtang. And she had an infant fiend celestial beast. Ha ha ha. I did not expect to be so lucky today to be at the Yunshao sect. The Grand Elder of Lingyun sect laughed. He must get the infant fiend celestial beast today. Young one, hand over the infant fiend celestial beast, and I'll spare your life. The Grand Elder of Yuehua sect stared at Yi Qingtang and tried to threaten her. Are you even qualified to get the fiend celestial beast? Yi Qingtang scanned through the two Grand Elders coldly. The two Grand Elders were enraged upon hearing her words. They did not expect that the young one would be so rude and arrogant that she was not even afraid of her own death. However, at the next second, their pupils constricted. The aura of a young lord rushed into the sky. It seemed that an ancient god-fiend arrived and surrounded everything in darkness, forcing everyone to kneel down in fear. The two Grand Elders felt that their bodies were about to be ripped apart by the terrifying aura of a young lord. They did not even question that they would be killed without any traces left as long as the person in front of them wished to. Young Lord. How? How is this even possible? The Grand Elder of Lingyun sect's face was pale as he stared at Yi Qingtang, who appeared to be a giant god-fiend. His body was soaked with cold sweat. Young Lord. Only when one reached the seventh heaven of Yin Yang perfected Lord could a person then be called a Yang Lord. However, the person in front of them was at the peak of seventh heaven of Yin Yang perfected Lord. She was just a little step away from entering the eighth heaven. Only at this moment did the Grand Elder of Yuehua sect understand that the person was not a disciple of Xianling sect. He found it weird how a disciple could survive in the 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka and get a fiend celestial beast. It was even more unbelievable that she was able to leave the hell of Avicenaraka with the fiend celestial beast. Everything could be explained if the person was a young lord. Chapter 1049 Skill 6. Moreover, how could a dignified fiend celestial beast fancy an ordinary sect disciple? The lady before them was none other than a genuine, unrivaled young lord. Damn it! Which dimwit released false information that the person who obtained the infant fiend celestial beast was an ordinary Xianling sect disciple? The Lingyun sect Grand Elder gritted his teeth. At this instant, the Yuehua sect master shuddered as he looked at the Yi family war flags, which were held high by the talented youths. It was at this moment when he finally understood what the Yi surname on the war flag represented. The name of this young lord was probably Yi Qingtang, and the Yi war flag probably represented the family clan of this young lord. No wonder. No wonder formidable heavens dynasty's grand imperial sire Bai Kuei and that veteran Yin Yang perfected lord proclaimed to be a member of the Yi family. For a daunting family clan with a powerful figure at the peak of Yin Yang perfected lord's seventh heaven, it was Bai Kuei's and Daoist Zijin's honor to join the family clan. Say, Senior. I was unaware of your arrival. Please pardon me and not be hard on me. The Yuehua sect Grand Elder stared at Yi Qingtang in horror. He was facing an authentic young lord. I remember that you wanted me to hand over the fiend celestial beast. Yi Qingtang stared at the Yuehua sect Grand Elder and said coldly. Upon hearing that, the Yuehua sect Grand Elder shuddered and instinctively shook his head without thinking. No, no, no. Senior, I did not say that. It's him. He said it. The Yuehua sect Grand Elder immediately pointed at the Lingyun sect Grand Elder. Don't spout nonsense. When did I ask Senior to hand over the fiend celestial beast? I don't even know what a fiend celestial beast is. What do I need it for? It must be you. You offended the Senior and want to shift the blame to me now. Lingyun sect Grand Elder denied anxiously. Humph. It's clearly you who asked the Senior for the fiend celestial beast. Why don't you dare to admit it? Even saying that you don't know what a fiend celestial beast is. I think you're the one who is spouting nonsense. Yuehua sect Grand Elder sneered. The hundreds of talented Yi family disciples behind Yi Qingtang snickered as they watched the two Grand Elders of super sects blame each other. This was the so-called powerful Grand Elder of a super sect. Before absolute strength, they were just like clowns. If their super sect's disciples were present and saw their own Grand Elder behaving this way, how would they think? Would they feel the slightest disgrace? Previously, when Yi Qingtang appeared, the Yunshao sect master, Great Elder, and even Grand Elder were delighted. However, after knowing that Yi Qingtang was an unrivaled young lord, they were completely dumbfounded. Didn't the two of you want to protect Yunshao sect? A Yi family branch master looked at the two Grand Elders and scoffed. Yunshao sect? Lingyun sect Grand Elder shook his head repeatedly. Senior Yi, this is a misunderstanding. A great misunderstanding. We are actually not that close with Yunshao sect. We just happened to pass by here today and came in to take a seat. Senior, we have nothing to do with your enmity with Yunshao sect. Right. Senior Yi, we have nothing to do with Yunshao sect. This Yunshao sect is really audacious. How dare they offend you, Senior? They deserve to die. Definitely deserve to die. Senior, if you need us to do anything, just tell us. Yuehua sect Grand Elder added hurriedly. Chapter 1050 Beiming Manor, 1. Neither the Yuehua sect Grand Elder nor Lingyun sect Grand Elder dared to be impetuous when they learned that Yi Qingtang was a young lord. Never would they have thought that Yunshao sect actually offended a young lord. If it was by Kuei or Daoist Zijin, the Grand Elders could still stand on Yunshao sect's side. However, it was impossible for them to go against a young lord if they wanted to live a longer life. The two super sect's Grand Elders stood before Yi Qingtang in silence, deeply afraid that she would execute them when displeased. Yi Qingtang swept a look at the two of them and subsequently said, "Get lost." After hearing Yi Qingtang, the Lingyun sect Grand Elder nodded his head repeatedly and disappeared without a trace. Farewell, Senior. Farewell, SE. If there's anything that you need my Yuehua sect for in the future, you may just inform us. The Yuehua sect Grand Elder disappeared immediately after saying that. Yi Qingtang did not have any enmity with Lingyun sect and Yuehua sect and did not wish to start another war, thus, letting these two Grand Elders leave was sufficient. At this instant, the Yunshao sect masses were dumbfounded and even had goosebumps as they looked at Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang's martial skills were too frightening. On this mainland, a young lord was almost unparalleled, and even a super sect was nothing to a young lord. Yunshao sect master and Grand Elder stared at Yi Qingtang in astonishment. They would have never thought that Yi Qingtang was actually a young lord. Come here. Then, Yi Qingtang raised her right arm, and a powerful force swept over. In at most 2 breaths' time, Yi Qingtang had already clutched onto the Yunshao sect Grand Elder's throat. You seemed to be very arrogant earlier on, Yi Qingtang said coldly as she glared at the Yunshao sect Grand Elder. The Yunshao sect Grand Elder shuddered, and his face paled after hearing Yi Qingtang's words. He did not know what he should say, and everything that happened seemed to be an unbelievable dream. 1 hour ago, they were still chatting with the Baiming Manor envoy within the sect, but a short while later, a young lord came searching for them. Yi Qingtang, even if you are a young lord, our Yunshao sect is affiliated to Baiming Manor. However powerful you are, do you dare to ignore the Baiming Manor? Yunshao sect Grand Elder looked at Yi Qingtang and shouted. Baiming Manor, the Yi family members were in thought upon hearing that. Baiming Manor was one of the extraordinary forces of this mainland and was on par with the Phantom Valley and Peerless School. They were known as the three mightiest sect forces. It was said that the Baiming Manor chief was a young lord of Yin Yang, perfected Lord 8th Heaven, and his martial skills were unrivaled. Yi Qingtang did not have any thoughts about Baiming Manor as she did not have any grudges against them. It would be best if they did not interfere with this matter, but if they insisted, Yi Qingtang would definitely not do nothing. Seeing that Yi Qingtang was silent, Yunshao sect master thought that Yi Qingtang was afraid of Baiming Manor, and he sneered. So what if you are a young lord? There are countless powerful figures in Baiming Manor, and the manor chief is an 8th heaven young lord. If you dare to touch my Yunshao sect today, it is equivalent to opposing Baiming Manor. Chapter 1051 Baiming Manor, 2, Yi Qingtang looked at the Yunshao sect master rather impatiently. Without saying much, young Lord Aura surged out, and the Yunshao sect master's body exploded into innumerable pieces of flesh before everyone's eyes. The Yunshao sect master's skills were not as powerful as that of the Yunshao sect Grand Elder, thus, he was unable to withstand Yi Qingtang's aura suppression. Witnessing the tragic death of the Yunshao sect master, the Yunshao sect masses paled and gasped. Without giving them time to return to their senses, Yi Qingtang moved her wrist and twisted the Yunshao sect Grand Elder's neck. In no time, Yunshao sect master and Grand Elder were both killed by Yi Qingtang. Run! The Yunshao sect Great Elder shouted at the top of his lungs when he noticed that the situation was bad and immediately fled towards the interior of Yunshao sect. Yunshao sect's foundation was extremely powerful, and as long as they could flee back into Yunshao sect, it was difficult to annihilate Yunshao sect even if Yi Qingtang was a young lord. If Yunshao sect master and Grand Elder knew that Yi Qingtang was a young lord, they would definitely not step out of Yunshao sect. Where are you all running to? Yi Qingtang shouted coldly, and her young lord aura swept across the entire place, killing the Yunshao sect Great Elder instantly. As the Yunshao sect Great Elder was also killed by Yi Qingtang, Yunshao sect became completely disunited, and the remaining elders and wardens remained rooted to the ground, shivering, without daring to move an inch. As long as Yi Qingtang was willing, all of them would be killed by her before they could even make it back into Yunshao sect. If Yunshao sect Grand Elder and sect master countered this battle within the sect, they definitely would not have died so quickly given Yunshao sect's foundation. Seeing that Yunshao sect Grand Elder died from the impact of Yi Qingtang's young lord aura, Elder Bai Kuei finally felt that he had finally avenged his wife. It was just a pity that he was not the one who personally killed the Yunshao sect Grand Elder. From now on, Yunshao sect no longer exists and will be annexed by the Yi family. Anyone who resists will be killed. If sect disciples wish to leave, don't stop them. Daoist Zijin announced loudly a moment later. Whether it was a war between sects or family clans, the defeated party must pay a terrible price, and even a foundation that had been passed down for thousands of years would belong to the victor. Currently, Yunshao sect Grand Elder, sect master, and Great Elder were all dead, and Yunshao sect had no leader. It was impossible for them to battle with the Yi family, which had a young lord. From then on, Yunshao sect would belong to the Yi family. Yes. The several branch masters and talented disciples immediately responded. At this instant, The Grand Elders of Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect had not left and were hiding above the clouds to observe the situation. However, when they saw the Yunshao sect Grand Elder and sect master being slain by that Yang Lord in an instant, their backs were drenched with cold sweat. It was fortunate that they made the right judgment, or else their outcome would be no different from Yunshao sect. The envoy from Baiming Manor is still within Yunshao sect. Yunshao sect is an affiliate of Baiming Manor. I'm afraid, the Baiming Manor will not leave this matter alone. The Yuehua sect Grand Elder looked at the Lingyun sect Grand Elder beside him. The Yi family only has one Yang Lord. How can it contend against Baiming Manor, which is one of the three mighty forces of this mainland? There will be a good show to watch now. The Lingyun Grand Elder nodded. Chapter 1052 Baiming Manor 3. Yunshao sect's annihilation was a given, but no one had expected it to be annihilated so quickly. A dignified super sect with centuries of foundation, however, became part of the Yi family in such a short period of time. At this instant, the Yi family disciples and several branch masters were covered with murderous auras. This was their first battle since becoming part of the Yi family. This war was truly too shocking. Yunshao sect was wiped out so swiftly that they did not even make any moves. It was also because of such that the Yi family members finally witnessed the unparalleled powers of a Yang Lord. Even if Yunshao sect was a super sect and had powerful foundations, it still ended up in such an ending. Anyone who wishes to resist the Yi family, come out. At this instant, a Yi family disciple swept across the remaining elders and wardens in Yunshao sect and shouted coldly. However, no one dared to say anything. Humph. So what about your Yi family? You all will still face death after offending Baiming Manor. A Yunshao sect disciple who appeared from nowhere said coldly. You have a death wish. Upon hearing that, a glint flashed across the eyes of that Yi family youth at the half-step yin-yang perfected Lord realm. With a clank, that Yunshao sect disciple's head was already chopped off by the Yi family disciple before the Yunshao sect disciple knew what happened. Clank! He unsheathed and sheathed his sword in one breath, and that was all it took to kill someone. Any resistors, kill! The Yi family youth shouted loudly, and he was brimming with killing intent. Little young one, how arrogant of you! All of a sudden, a bone-curdling cold filled the air, and the temperature of the surroundings dropped to the freezing point in an instant. A middle-aged man in a gold Chinese robe walked out of Yunshao sect slowly with a young male and female beside him. That man's martial skills were frightening and had already reached the peak of yin-yang perfected Lord Fourth Heaven. Baiming Manor Envoy, in the sky, the Yuehua sect Grand Elders and Lingyun sect Grand Elders' eyes twinkled when they saw the appearance of that middle-aged man. It seemed that Yunshao sect's annihilation enraged Baiming Manor utterly. Beneath, the Yi family talented disciple shivered at that cold shout, and his body retreated backward. The Yi family talented youth was merely a half-step yin-yang perfected lord and naturally could not contest against the Baiming Manor envoy, who was at the peak of yin-yang perfected Lord Fourth Heaven. You're pretty arrogant yourself too. Yi Qingtang hollered immediately and easily dissipated the powerful martial aura of that Baiming Manor envoy. It was only until then did the Yi family youth's complexion improve, and he looked at Yi Qingtang with gratitude. A Yang Lord is here. Hurry bow and pay your respects to the Yang Lord. A Yi family branch master looked at the Baiming Manor envoy without fear and sneered. The Baiming Manor envoy frowned slightly upon hearing that. She's actually a Yang Lord. How dare you? The Baiming Manor envoy yelled in fury. I am Baiming Manor's great warden. How dare you make me bow and pay my respects? The Baiming Manor Great Warden was the head of all wardens. Although his position was lower than that of elders and the chief, he was also considered to have a high position and authority, and he represented Baiming Manor with full authority when he was out. How dare this force make him bow and pay respects? Chapter 1053 Biming Manor. 4. This so-called Yi family was a disorderly mob. Could it be that it had never heard of the three mighty forces of this mainland? Everyone still had a certain level of fear towards the Biming Manor, thus, the Yi family branch master remained silent. After all, Yi family only had one young lord while Biming Manor had more than one. Seeing that the Yi family branch master no longer spoke, the Biming Manor envoy nodded in satisfaction. Nonetheless, he was still curious as to why a young lord, who even seemed so young, appeared out of nowhere when there was only a handful of young lords on this mainland. You are the young lord of the Yi family. The Biming Manor envoy looked at Yi Qingtang and said. Yes, so what if I am? Yi Qingtang replied indifferently. She did not have any enmity with Biming Manor and did not wish to complicate matters by having any relations with Biming Manor. However, if Biming Manor failed to appreciate her favor and insisted on poking their nose into this matter, it was fine with Yi Qingtang as well. Yi Qingtang had never liked causing trouble, but this did not mean that she was afraid of trouble. Good. Not bad. It is indeed unbelievable that you can become a young lord at such a young age. My Biming Manor admires you greatly. If you're willing, you can join my Biming Manor, and you can freely choose any position that you want. The Biming Manor envoy looked at Yi Qingtang and said. In other territories, the Biming Manor envoy represented the entire Biming Manor, and everything he said was equivalent to what the Biming Manor chief said. Thus, since he said that, it was definitely effective. The three mighty forces of this mainland would all wish to snatch this young lord. Regardless of the Phantom Valley, Peerless School, or Biming Manor, their control and power would become even more powerful if they had an additional young lord. Oh. Yi Qingtang looked at the Biming Manor envoy and said with a seeming smile. Do you mean what you say? Of course, I do. Arrogance filled the Biming Manor envoy's face. I am a Biming Manor envoy, and everything I say represents the Biming Manor. As long as you are willing to join and dedicate yourself to my Biming Manor, you can pick any position you want in Biming Manor. All right. Yi Qingtang said. If that's the case, I want the Biming Manor chief position. Do you think it's possible? Everyone at the scene was stunned by Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang actually wanted to become the Biming Manor chief. What are you saying? The Biming Manor envoy's eyes were ice cold. This girl was so young yet so arrogant and conceited to want the Biming Manor chief position. Although Yi Qingtang was not familiar with the three mighty forces of this mainland, she was very clear with their routine. Phantom Valley, Biming Manor, and Peerless School were currently in a state of check and balance, and no one wished to break this balance. However, if Yi Qingtang chose to join one side, this balance would definitely be broken. Even if Yi Qingtang joined Biming Manor, it would definitely not believe an outsider, especially when this outsider was a young lord. Once this young lord had any ideas, it was very possible that it would result in a serious imbalance. Moreover, Phantom Valley and Peerless School would face a relatively serious threat with Yi Qingtang's addition to Biming Manor. By then, Peerless School and Phantom Valley would definitely join forces to annihilate Biming Manor. Chapter 1054 Kill one of my people and I will slay your entire family. As one of the top three forces of this mainland, Biming Manor definitely understood this logic. Although Yi Qingtang had become a young lord currently, she knew her limitations, something she was never lacking in no matter whether she was a holy venerate in the past life or currently. The three mighty forces of this mainland were not short of young lords and instead had very powerful young lords. Given her current skills, it was extremely difficult if she wished to fight any of these three forces head-on. Nonetheless, since Yi Qingtang became a young lord, these top three forces would definitely do something. Once Yi Qingtang joined one force, the other two forces would join hands and annihilate the force that Yi Qingtang joined. This was so in addition to the fact that the force that Yi Qingtang joined would be on their guard against her and secretly kill her in order to maintain the balance. However, if Yi Qingtang did not join any of the forces would be suspicious and paranoid that Yi Qingtang had already secretly made arrangements with the other two forces. As the skills of the top three forces were overly balanced, they definitely did not wish to see another young lord even if she did not join any forces and developed her own influence. Since that was the case, there was only one solution: Yi Qingtang would become enemies with one top force while the other two forces watched from aside and reaped the spoils. Especially for Baiming Manor, a young lord's appearance in formidable Heaven's dynasty would attract the suspicions of Peerless School and Phantom Valley. It was either that Yi Qingtang joins Baiming Manor and the manor chief decides whether to utilize or secretly kill her, or that Baiming Manor directly kills Yi Qingtang to let Peerless School and Phantom Valley know that they did not have any intention to break the balance of the three great forces. There were no other options apart from these. Humph. Baiming Manor's will is not something you can revolt against. The Baiming Manor envoy glared at Yi Qingtang coldly. Upon hearing that, Yi Qingtang's lips curled up into a sneer. If I have never even acknowledged the Baiming Manor chief, what are you? Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin cast a cold eye at that Baiming Manor envoy. If he was not representing Baiming Manor to talk to Yi Qingtang, he would already be a dead man by now. Great. Indeed, a young lord. How arrogant. The Baiming Manor envoy raised his volume and said coldly. My Baiming Manor has a 1,000-year foundation on this mainland, and you are the first who dares to defy Baiming Manor's will. Since that's the case, Baiming Manor will officially start a war with your Yi family. Although you are a young lord, not all of your family clan has skills like yours, the Baiming Manor envoy scoffed. His meaning was clear. If Yi Qingtang fled, perhaps they could not do anything, but the Yi family had many people, and Baiming Manor could kill however many they wished. Nevertheless, Yi Qingtang replied coldly. You're right. But, out of your tens of thousands of Baiming Manor people, is everyone a young lord? With that, the Baiming Manor envoy's smile was suddenly frozen. Yi Qingtang's meaning was extremely clear as well. If the Baiming Manor dared to touch the Yi family members, she would kill a group of Baiming Manor people. Baiming Manor has been in existence for 1,000 years, and it should have a minimum of tens of thousands of people. For every 100 Yi family members that Baiming Manor kills, I will slay 10,000 Baiming Manor people. I want to see if your Baiming Manor dares to touch anyone from my Yi family. From today onward, as long as a Yi family disciple dies, I will place the responsibility on your Baiming Manor. If one Yi family disciple dies, I will kill thousands of your Baiming Manor people. Yi Qingtang shouted. Chapter 1055 3 Orders to Kill. When they heard Yi Qingtang's words, the looks of fear on the faces of Yi family members instantly vanished, never to be seen again. Only excitement and agitation remained. Just as Yi Qingtang said, if the Yi family was massacred, then Yi Qingtang would fight the Baiming Manor to the death. How terrifying would it be to have a powerful young lord lying in ambush? Also, could the few powerful young lords of Baiming Manor really guard tens of thousands of people every day without leaving their side? By then, the Baiming Manor would be unable to find Yi Qingtang, who would be lying in wait. But Yi Qingtang would be clearly aware of the Baiming Manor's position. Even if the young lords found Yi Qingtang, they might not be able to kill her with one stroke, causing Yi Qingtang's vengeance to be even crueler and terrifying. Then, the tens of thousands of people in Baiming Manor would live in fear, and those who had not yet become young lords would live in the shadow of death. The Yi family had a few hundred people, but the Baiming Manor had tens of thousands of people. However, the Baiming Manor master and young lords were not idiots. They did not dare touch a single hair on a Yi family disciple's head without first killing Yi Qingtang. At that moment, the Baiming Manor envoy gritted his teeth. If Yi Qingtang kept her word, tens of thousands of people from the Baiming Manor would die because they killed 100 people from the Yi family. Right now, there are over 100 Yi family disciples. I guarantee I will not act. Let me see if you dare to touch a single person. Yi Qingtang fixed her gaze on the Baiming Manor envoy and spoke with a cold laugh. You dare to touch me. At that moment, Elder Bai Kuei's grandson, Yi Leng, who had changed his surname to Yi, stepped forward and pointed to the Baiming Manor envoy. Would their Yi family be afraid of the Baiming Manor? It was worthwhile to exchange one person's life for a few thousand lives. Yi family, you will pay an unimaginably terrible price for your arrogance. Veins stood up on the Baiming Manor envoy's forehead. He did not dare to touch so much as a hair on a Yi family disciple's head. If this young lord really went crazy, the consequences would be unimaginable. The top 3 sects were very familiar with the young lords in this mainland. But what kind of personality did Yi Qingtang have, and would she actually do as she said? Who could be certain? When she saw that the Baiming Manor envoy was about to leave, Yi Qingtang stepped forward and blocked his way. The powerful force of a young lord immediately shot skywards. What are you doing? The Baiming Manor envoy was shocked when he saw what was happening. You've offended me, shouldn't you leave something behind? Yi Qingtang stared at the Baiming Manor envoy and said coldly. When 2 major forces are in a battle, we are equivalent to envoys of war. How dare you ignore the rules and kill a war envoy? The Baiming Manor envoy said in shock. Of course I want. Yi Qingtang's lips curved upward slightly. Then, she used the force of a young lord to press down on the Baiming Manor envoy. Puff, the Baiming Manor envoy's face was ashen. Blood shot out of his mouth as he repeatedly retreated. You dare, harm my martial arts foundation, the Baiming Manor envoy stared at Yi Qingtang in shock. This young lord was completely disregarding the rules. I'm giving you a small punishment today. If you dare to be disrespectful to my Yi family in the future, your life will not be spared. Yi Qingtang shouted coldly. In the future, anyone who harms my Yi family disciples will be killed. In the future, anyone who impedes my Yi family affairs will be killed. In the future, anyone who harms my Yi family elders will be killed. Yi Qingtang's voice was bone-chilling. From that day onward, these 3 killing orders would reverberate through this mainland. Chapter 1056 3 Orders to Kill. 2. The moment Yi Qingtang issued her 3 killing orders, everyone in the Yi family became very emotional and felt uplifted. If anyone dared to offend a Yi family member, be it a disciple or an elder, the Yi family young lord would strike them dead with the swiftness of lightning. In all of history, this must be the family clan young lord that shielded her subordinates the most. The Baiming envoy glared at Yi Qingtang in rage but did not dare to say anything more. This Yi family young lord did not abide by the rules at all and had even seriously injured him even though he was a war envoy. If he said anything more, he might lose his life. Yi Qingtang, wait and see. Circumstances will change. We will meet again. The Baiming Manor envoy glared at Yi Qingtang, a cold light flickering in his eye. He fervently wished he could dismember Yi Qingtang to relieve the hatred in his heart. To the Baiming Manor envoy, this Yi family was a new power, and although it had a young lord that was almost invincible in this mainland, she was still too young. These people probably did not know how terrifying the Baiming Manor was. Get lost. Elder Bai Kuei looked at the Baiming Manor envoy and shouted at him coldly. If the Baiming Manor had not been present as an envoy, he would have died many times over today. How dare a Mireen lord be so arrogant and unrestrained in the presence of a young lord? Without further ado, the Baiming Manor envoy turned to leave and vanished in a moment. Both the grand elders of the Lingyun sect and the Yuehua sect, who were watching from above, could not help but exchange glances when they saw this scene. The Yi family young lord was truly impossibly arrogant. She did not even show any respect for the Baiming manor. Fortunately, they were both wise men who knew how to bide their time. Otherwise, their fates would probably have been the same as the Grand Elder of the Yunshao sect, with their heads sent rolling. The two super sect elders did not dare to linger in the area, and they swiftly vanished into the void. At that moment, in the Yi family, Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin led the group from the Yi family and charged into the Yunshao sect. The thousands of disciples in the Yunshao sect were all struck dumb. No one dared to resist at all. Everything was like a dream. Before today, the Yunshao sect was carrying on with its usual routine. However, within the short span of an hour, the Grand Elder and the Master of the Yunshao sect had both been killed. Even the Yunshao sect's Great Elder had died. None of the senior members of the sect dared to resist. They all wished to preserve their lives. As the saying went, even lowly insects cling to life, much less the Yunshao sect's wardens and elders. A powerful young lord was invincible. Forcibly resisting was the same as giving up one's life. However, as long as they did not resist, the Yi family would not act. They would give the Yunshao sect, which now completely lacked cohesion, a chance to survive. Yi Qingtang immediately ordered all the wardens and elders of the Yunshao sect to be expelled from the sect. This included the administrative personnel and all the Yunshao sect disciples. Not a single person was to remain. Within the short span of half a day, the glory of the Yunshao sect was completely dissipated and became a thing of the past. Everyone from the Yi family entered the Yunshao sect, which became the headquarters of the Yi family. The Yunshao sect contained countless jewels and fine gems. There were some that even Yi Qingtang felt were fairly unusual. It went without saying that the Yunshao sect had a great legacy. After all, it had existed for hundreds of years and was far beyond what the Xianling sect could compare to. Chapter 1057 3 Orders to Kill. 3. If the previous Grand Elder and Master of the Yunshao sect had remained in the sect and resisted to the end, with their rich legacy, even Yi Qingtang would take some time to completely eradicate the Yunshao sect. She certainly would not have been able to uproot it so easily. Eldest young lady, I must say that the Yunshao sect legacy is pretty good. Ha ha ha. They've put so much effort into managing it for hundreds of years, only for it to fall to our Yi family. Elder Bai Kuei laughed loudly. Yi Qingtang did not have much to say about that. A fight between two major forces was always like that. Once a battle began, the loser would always become fodder for the victor. Yi Qingtang quickly followed the Yi family branch masters and arrived in the area where the Yunshao sect reared its spirit animals. Dozens of spirit animals were separately reared in their individual areas. Their environment was almost like a paradise, extremely beautiful. Besides the rarer flying spirit animals, there were also fighting spirit animals and mounts. The Yunshao sect even reared many young demonic beasts. A super sect almost always gained its status from the efforts of its forebears. The rich legacy the sect had built up for hundreds of years was hard to imagine. Today, an ordinary sect would be hard-pressed to even provide fodder for these spirit animals and demonic beasts. However, to a super sect, it was nothing out of the ordinary and was not a burden. Yi Qingtang and the others very quickly came to the martial skills area. The Yunshao sect's martial skills area was not bad, but it was inferior to the one that Yi Qingtang had previously established in the Yi house. Not long after, Elder Bai Kuei, Daoist Zijin, Yi Qingtang, and the others came upon the treasure pavilion. Greetings, young lord. A white-haired old man looked at Yi Qingtang, his face filled with respect. He kneeled and greeted them. This man was the guardian of the Yunshao sect's treasure pavilion and was very familiar with the treasures there. He sincerely begged Elder Bai Kuei and the others to allow him to remain, and he expressed his hope of serving the Yi family. Elder Bai Kuei allowed the old man to remain after receiving Yi Qingtang's approval. The old man was not part of the Yunshao sect's fighting force. His martial skills were ordinary, and he was only a part of the support personnel. The Yi family had retained many support personnel like him instead of expelling them from the sect. "No need to be so formal," said Yi Qingtang to the old man. The old man quickly stood up, looked at Yi Qingtang, and smiled. "Young lord, please come this way." Yi Qingtang followed the old man into the treasure pavilion. The treasure pavilion in the Yunshao sect was divided into several large areas: the spirit weapons area, the Dharma treasures area, the talisman area, the traps area, the elixirs area, and so on. At that moment, Yi Qingtang and the others entered the spirit weapons area. In the center of it were rows of spirit weapons, and every one of them was of fairly high level. "Young lord, this cold earth sword is a medial black-grade spirit weapon. It belonged to the ancient Zhou kingdom's third emperor 300 years ago." The old man explained to Yi Qingtang and the others. Yi Qingtang nodded when she heard that. The old man knew every Dharma treasure like the back of his hand. They learned from the old man that the Yunshao sect's treasure pavilion was not open to ordinary disciples of the sect but only to those of warden level or above, who had made a major contribution to the sect. In the future, the treasure pavilion will be open to everyone in the Yi family, Yi Qingtang said to Elder Bai Kuei and the others. When they heard that, Bai Kuei and the Taoist Zijin nodded repeatedly. Chapter 1058 Trader 1. The senior members of the Yi family may pick any treasure from the treasure pavilion, with no conditions attached. If they are unsure of what to select, they can follow old Zhou's recommendations. Yi Qingtang looked at the old man. "Young lord, please don't worry. I am very good with these matters," the old man said repeatedly. When they heard Yi Qingtang's words, the Yi family branch masters and two elders looked rather emotional. The Yunshao sect treasures were extremely attractive to them. After they left the treasure pavilion, Yi Qingtang's gaze swept across the air. Her lips immediately curved upwards and arched in a mysterious smile. Here was a fish that had escaped the net. "Eldest young lady." Taoist Zijin was rather perplexed when he saw Yi Qingtang's odd expression. "Come out." Yi Qingtang shouted coldly as her right arm reached into the void and grasped at something. As everyone stared, an old man in a black robe was dragged out of the void. "Who are you?" Elder Bai Kuei immediately shouted sternly. They had been completely unaware of this old man who was hiding in the void. "Elder Chu, how are you?" Yi Qingtang smiled coldly as she fixed her gaze on the old man, who was frowning deeply. Elder Chu was a Blood Moon sect elder, but after the sect was exterminated, he moved to the Yunshao sect and taught the Yunshao sect disciples the evil skill of robbing others of their spirit roots. When Yi Qingtang had been in the Yunshao sect, she had followed her teacher, Elder Mo, and the others to the Drifting Cloud Island and coincidentally met Elder Chu and Yi Yu. She had learned of Elder Chu's status from the Blood Moon sect elder. "Young lord," Elder Chu stared at Yi Qingtang. This girl was so young but was already a young lord. 1,000 years ago, Elder Chu had also been a young lord. But unfortunately, 1,000 years later, his level of attainment had dropped too rapidly, and now, he was only an ordinary Yin lord. "I am willing to serve you faithfully," Elder Chu said to Yi Qingtang. Elder Chu firmly believed that given his value, this young lord would certainly give him an important position. However, Yi Qingtang just laughed coldly. "I don't need your faithful service. But you may leave your life here." Elder Chu laughed when he heard Yi Qingtang's words. "Young lord, I know the robbing spirit roots skill. With me around, I can guarantee that the young lord's family will be elevated to the next level." When they heard that, all Yi family members present were taken aback and even somewhat skeptical. Robbing spirit roots skill, legend has it that one can indeed rob cultivators of their spirit roots and use them for oneself. Taoist Zijin was shocked. This secret skill had long been lost in this mainland. Humph! Elder Bai Kuei shouted angrily. Who would have thought that the Yunshao sect would be so despicable as to do such evil things? The robbing spirit root skill is equivalent to robbing others of their martial skills. It is a great crime. Elder Bai Kuei's fiancée had been snatched away by the Grand Elder of the Yunshao sect, so he had a deep hatred of stealing, even if it was in terms of martial skills. The skill of robbing spirit roots was somewhat similar to Yi Qingtang's heavenly demon devouring bloodline. However, when compared to the heavenly demon devouring bloodline, the robbing spirit root skill was inferior. The robbing spirit root skill could be used to devour the spirit root of others. However, the heavenly demon devouring skill could devour anything in the world, from the spirit energy of a stone, to the martial skills and bloodline of a person. Robbing spirit root skill, Daoist Zijin thought for a moment and then suddenly frowned. Chapter 1059 Trader, 2, 1,000 years ago, only the Blood Moon sect had this robbing spirit root skill. In that case, the black-robed old man before them, was connected to the Blood Moon sect. Daoist Zijin did not care about even the three greatest powers. But the Blood Moon sect. 1,000 years ago, it was the foremost unshakable power in this mainland. Later, the Blood Moon sect had grown overly powerful, single-handedly beating all others. This had aroused the hatred of hundreds of sects and powerful families in this mainland. In the end, powerful sects and families had joined forces and had barely managed to exterminate the Blood Moon sect. But they paid a terrible price. The Blood Moon sect, at its peak, it had over 100 young lords. Even after the Blood Moon sect was exterminated, 1,000 years later, its senior members were slowly recovering, and the Blood Moon sect would rise again. If they killed a member of the Blood Moon sect today, the consequences would not be as simple as antagonizing the Baiming manor. Young lord, I can use my robbing spirit root skill to serve you. Elder Chu fixed his gaze on Yi Qingtang. That sounds pretty good, a pity that I'm not very interested in your robbing spirit root skill. However, I am interested in taking your life. Yi Qingtang smiled coldly as she looked at Elder Chu. No matter what, she was the sworn sister of the Blood Moon Holy Lord. She even had the status of Blood Moon Holy Lady. As the Holy Lady of the Blood Moon sect, Yi Qingtang must certainly act now that she had met a great traitor of the Blood Moon sect. Otherwise, she could not answer to her handsome younger brother. Elder Chu was taken aback by Yi Qingtang's words. He had no quarrel with this young lord, so why was she so interested in taking his life? Eldest young lady, slow down. Let this man live for now. Daoist Zijin was afraid that Yi Qingtang would act immediately and spoke hurriedly. He mustn't be killed. Elder Bai Kuei looked at Daoist Zijin. He is a mere Yunshao sect elder, why can't he be killed? Daoist Zijin, can it be that you are interested in the robbing spirit root skill? Does our Yi family still need these things for embellishment? When he heard that, Daoist Zijin immediately shook his head and said, what rubbish robbing spirit root skill. Bai Kuei, are you brainless? Don't you know where the robbing spirit root skill originated from? When he heard Daoist Zijin's words, Elder Bai Kuei was shocked. The origin of the robbing spirit root skill. Bai Kuei immediately sank into deep thought. After a few breaths, his expression suddenly changed. As the Grand Imperial Sire of the formidable Heavens dynasty, Elder Bai Kuei could not possibly be unaware of the origins of the robbing spirit root skill. It was the Blood Moon sect, the foremost power 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago, even the ancestors of the formidable Heavens dynasty had joined the plot to exterminate the Blood Moon sect. Only a senior member of the Blood Moon sect could use the robbing spirit root skill. Others could not possibly learn it. Are you saying that this man is a member of the Blood Moon sect? Elder Bai Kuei was shocked. In recent times, He had heard the news that the Blood Moon sect was reviving but had not taken it to heart. "Eldest young lady, you must not kill this man," Elder Bai Kuei hurriedly said. He was suddenly on the same side as Taoist Zijin. "Eldest young lady, you should be aware of the Blood Moon sect. It was the absolute power in this mainland 1,000 years ago. Although it was exterminated, it can revive. This man must have some deep connection with the Blood Moon sect. If he dies at the hands of our Yi family, we will offend the Blood Moon sect." Cold sweat seeped from Taoist Zijin's forehead. Chapter 1060 Traitor, 3. Although it had been exterminated 1,000 years ago, the reputation of the Blood Moon sect was still as formidable 1,000 years later. As the saying went, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Even the three biggest powers of today definitely did not dare to offend the Blood Moon sect. Unless all the sects and powerful families in this mainland allied again against a common enemy and completely eradicated the Blood Moon sect before it had a chance to revive fully. However, this was impossible. If the Blood Moon sect revived now, it would still be incredibly powerful. No one was willing to antagonize the Blood Moon sect. Further, the Blood Moon sect might not be powerful enough to gain dominance. If it did not impinge on anyone's interest, who would dare to stick their necks out first and take on the Blood Moon sect? Elder Bai Kuei and the Taoist Zijin did not want the Yi family to be the one to stick its neck out. The Yi family had just risen to power. If they offended the Blood Moon sect and was exterminated before they had achieved anything, that would be a pity. Now, Taoist Zijin and Elder Bai Kuei made up their minds that no matter what, they would not allow the eldest young lady to kill this Elder Chu. They really had the best intentions for the Yi family and eldest young lady. Even if Yi Qingtang was a young lord, no matter how powerful she was, she could not possibly oppose the Blood Moon sect. "Eldest young lady, please reconsider. Eldest young lady, our Yi family cannot afford to offend the Blood Moon sect. Eldest young lady, right now, there is no need for our Yi family to offend the Blood Moon sect." A few Yi family branch masters also took the side of Elder Bai Kuei and Taoist Zijin and spoke up to persuade her. The members of the Yi family did not know Elder Chu's status and were ignorant of the fact that Elder Chu was a traitor to the Blood Moon sect. They simply thought that Elder Chu was a member of the Blood Moon sect. At that moment, Elder Chu's lips curved in a slight smile. He had thought of a way to extricate himself. "Ah, so I have been discovered. I am one of the 24 elders of the Blood Moon sect. If you harm me at all, it will be equivalent to opposing my Blood Moon sect." Elder Chu swept a gaze across everyone and smiled coldly. All the Yi family members turned pale at Elder Chu's words. It did not matter whether he was speaking the truth. Even if he was lying, it was inconsequential. But if he was telling the truth and he really was one of the Blood Moon sect's 24 elders, their Yi family could not possibly bear the consequences. If the eldest young lady killed a Blood Moon sect elder, the Yi family would probably fall into an abyss from which there was no return. Even Yi Qingtang would probably suffer terrible consequences. "Elder Chu, if you are really one of the Blood Moon sect's 24 elders, then I could bear witness for you." Yi Qingtang stared at Elder Chu and smiled coldly. "However, you actually betrayed the Blood Moon sect and entered the Yunxiao sect. I suppose you haven't forgotten about that." When they heard Yi Qingtang's words, Elder Bai Kuei, Taoist Zijin, and even all the Yi family branch masters were shocked. This Blood Moon sect elder was a traitor of the Blood Moon sect. "Humph." Elder Chu snorted coldly. "Nonsense." Although Elder Chu spoke with conviction, he was feeling rather guilty. How did this young lord know about these events? "Elder Chu, do you recognize me?" Yi Qingtang stared at Elder Chu. No. Elder Chu had already studied Yi Qingtang and found her unfamiliar. "Since you don't recognize me, do you recognize this? Yi Qingtang pointed to her brow, her lips curving upwards. Chapter 1061 Traitor, for Elder Chu was taken aback by Yi Qingtang's words. He did not understand her meaning but involuntarily glanced at her brow. The next moment, a thin blood-colored crescent moon surfaced on Yi Qingtang's brow. The singular blood moon aura filled the entire area. The blood moon aura, which was unique to the blood moon Holy Lady, gradually surfaced. Elder Chu was stunned for a few seconds when he saw the blood-colored crescent moon on Yi Qingtang's brow. When he snapped out of his trance, his lips moved a little, but he remained rooted to the spot. 1,000 years ago, Elder Chu had been a blood moon sect elder. He certainly recognized the mark of the Holy Lady of the blood moon sect. The girl standing before him had such a powerful blood moon aura. Holy Lady, impossible, that's impossible. Elder Chu could not believe it. Elder Chu was ashen. The young lord standing before him was the most mysterious Holy Lady of the Blood Moon sect, even more mysterious than the two Blood Moon guardians, who had never been seen before. Also, the status of Blood Moon Holy Lady was even higher than that of the Blood Moon sect master, almost equal to that of the Blood Moon Holy Lord. When the Yi family branch masters, Daoist Zijin, and the others saw the blood moon mark on Yi Qingtang's brow, they were also stunned. However, when they learned from Elder Chu that their eldest young lady was actually the Blood Moon sect Holy Lady, they were completely shocked. They stared at Yi Qingtang and almost forgot to breathe. Holy Lady, please have mercy. Great Holy Lady, please have mercy. With a thump, Elder Chu's body slumped, and he kneeled by Yi Qingtang's feet. Elder Chu, 1,000 years ago, you betrayed the Blood Moon sect. You collaborated with outsiders to kill numerous members of the Blood Moon sect. Now, I am going to show you grace and be merciful. Yi Qingtang fixed her gaze on Elder Chu and blandly spoke. Actually, Yi Qingtang did not really identify with her status as Blood Moon Holy Lady. However, the Blood Moon Holy Lord was her sworn brother and was loyal to her. Now that she had run into a traitor of the Blood Moon sect, she naturally needed to put the sect's affairs in order. Besides this connection, Elder Chu and the others in the Yunshao sect had also harmed many of the younger talented martial arts cultivators. Of course, it was none of Yi Qingtang's business as to who Elder Chu and the Yunshao sect had harmed, but the Xianling sect had almost been exterminated by the Yunshao sect, and this was closely related to Elder Chu. No matter what, Yi Qingtang would not allow him to leave. Kill him. Yi Qingtang looked at Bai Kuei and Daoist Zijin. What? Daoist Zijin was taken aback. When he recovered his wits, he still looked rather shocked. Eldest young Holy Lady, kill. Kill, repeated Yi Qingtang. Humph, I hate traitors the most. You Blood Moon sect traitor, you betrayed the Blood Moon sect and betrayed the Blood Moon Holy Lady. Your crimes are unforgivable. One of the Yi family branch masters stared at Elder Chu and shouted angrily. The next moment, Daoist Zijin, Bai Kuei, and a few Yi family branch masters advanced together and simultaneously struck a killing blow. Although Elder Chu had been a Yang Lord 1,000 years ago, his current martial skills were merely around Yin Yang perfected Lord Third Heaven. He could not possibly compare with Bai Kuei, Daoist Zijin, and others. Within the span of 10 breaths, the Yi family members had acted together to kill him. After Elder Chu was killed, the group from the Yi family stared at the blood-colored mark on Yi Qingtang's brow. They were all shaken. Besides being a Yang Lord, their Yi family's eldest young lady, was actually the Blood Moon sect Holy Lady. No wonder she had become a Yang Lord at such a young age. No wonder she dared to challenge the Baiming Manor without fear. Chapter 1062 Shameless. 1. Although the Yi family members were surprised, Yi Qingtang did not explain to them, and the branch masters and elders did not dare to ask further. After killing Elder Chu, Yi Qingtang bade farewell to the Yi family members and informed Elder Bai Kuei to bring Yi Ling and the other 3 elders of the Yi family to Yunqiao sect. Afterward, she left the formidable Heavens dynasty and flew towards the Nine Knights dynasty. It had been a long time since she left Falling Sky Valley, and it was now time she settled the matters there. Currently, Falling Sky Valley had internal and external troubles. Not only did perfected Xianqian have to face the other peak masters, but he was even pressured by the Peerless School. Yi Qingtang's return to the Nine Knights dynasty was none other than to resolve Falling Sky Valley's conflict. In the sky, at the boundary of the formidable Heavens dynasty, Yi Qingtang slowed down instantly as she looked behind her. At this instant, 2 extremely powerful auras were flying towards her at lightning speed. After sensing these 2 powerful auras, Yi Qingtang inspected her back. In 2 breaths' time, these 2 auras were increasingly near, and 2 elderlies arrived at the spot in a flash. These 2 elderlies were similar in age. Looking at their outfits, they did not seem to be from sections. However, their auras resembled that of strong waves that swept across the surroundings. They were at least at the young lord level. "Little girl, you run really fast." One of the white-robed elderlies sized up Yi Qingtang for a moment, and shock emerged in his eyes as he commented with a laugh. Yi Qingtang similarly sized up the 2 elderlies who suddenly arrived and blocked her way. With the cultivation base of a young lord and the fact that they appeared in the formidable Heavens dynasty, one did not need to think much to know that they were from Baiming Manor. "May I know what you 2 stopped me for?" Yi Qingtang looked at the 2 elderlies and said. After hearing Yi Qingtang, one of the elderlies said, "Little child, I heard that you annihilated Yunqiao sect." "That's right," Yi Qingtang said bluntly without waiting for the elderly to continue. Both elderlies were slightly stunned and they heard Yi Qingtang admitting it so straightforwardly. "Little girl, do you know that Yunqiao sect is a super sect that is an affiliate of Baiming Manor? By annihilating Yunqiao sect, it is equivalent to opposing Baiming Manor." The Baiming Manor elderly looked at Yi Qingtang and said with a smile. "You 2 can just state your reason for being here. There's no need to beat around the bush," Yi Qingtang said. "Ha! Little girl, you're rather young, but you have quite a temper." Another elderly sneered. "I have a deep-seated hatred with Yunqiao sect. It is right that Yunqiao sect is annihilated by me when its skills are lower than mine. Yet, you 2 are blocking my way and calling me arrogant," Yi Qingtang said. "Oh." The Baiming Manor elderly snickered. "In that case, Yunqiao sect is rightly annihilated by you since its skills are lower than yours. So, is it right that you're killed by us if your skills are lower than us? If you all have the ability, why not give it a try?" Yi Qingtang cast a look at the 2 people and said coldly. "Haha, there's no hurry." Another elderly laughed. "Little girl, you're so young, but you're already a young lord. Our Baiming Manor is one of the 3 mighty forces of this mainland. We pay great attention to powerful talents. Given your skills, you can completely join Baiming Manor, become an elder, and have the same status as us. How's that?" Chapter 1063 Shameless. 2. The 2 Baiming Manor elderlies were here for none other than Yi Qingtang, a young lord. Once Yi Qingtang left and was not within Baiming Manor's boundary of control or joined Peerless School or Phantom Valley, it was not a good thing to Baiming Manor. Although it was said that Baiming Manor could never accept another young lord in order to maintain the balance among the 3 mighty forces, they could not let the young lord end up in someone else's hands. They had to hold on to her first, and whatever they decided to do with her was something to be dealt with later on. Join Baiming Manor? Yi Qingtang shook her head. Not interested. Not interested. After they heard Yi Qingtang's words, a glint flashed across the Baiming Manor elderly's eyes. No matter whether this lady was uninterested in Baiming Manor or in the three mighty forces, both Baiming Manor elderlies did not dare to take this risk, as the consequences would be dire should they not deal with this young lord. Not interested. Do you still want me to say it a third time? Yi Qingtang said coldly. Yi Qingtang had lived for hundreds of years and was clearly aware of what Baiming Manor was thinking, which was merely to hold on to her. However, once she joined Baiming Manor, the consequences would then be truly dire. Little girl. Do you really not want to reconsider? The Baiming Manor elderly stared at Yi Qingtang and asked with a frown. There's no need to reconsider. Yi Qingtang replied firmly. Upon hearing Yi Qingtang's reply, the two Baiming Manor elderlies exchanged a look. One of them nodded with a smile and said, "All right. Baiming Manor has never forced people to do things against their will. Since you're unwilling, forget it then. However, if you are interested in the Baiming Manor in the future, you can head to Baiming Manor directly. Our doors will always be open for you." If that's the case, thanks a lot then, Yi Qingtang said. It was the best if the two Baiming Manor elderlies thought that way. However, Yi Qingtang snickered to herself. They spoke so nicely on the surface, but it was impossible for Yi Qingtang to not know exactly what those two were thinking. "I'll take my leave then." Yi Qingtang cupped her fists towards the two Baiming Manor elderlies and subsequently turned around, wanting to leave. However, just as Yi Qingtang turned around, one of the Baiming Manor elderly's eyes twinkled. Horrifying killing intent exploded from him, and he dashed forward at top speed. He was so fast that one could only see the motion of the waves of air with the naked eye. A black mist that emerged from his palm subsequently aimed towards the back of Yi Qingtang's head. For a battle among young lords of similar cultivation realm, if one party was totally unguarded while the other launched a sneak attack, the one who sneaked an attack could very possibly kill the other with one strike at close distance. However, at this critical moment, Yi Qingtang scoffed. In a flash, she turned around and raised her palm to attack the Baiming Manor elderly. A deep rumble echoed around them immediately. As Yi Qingtang's palm slammed against the Baiming Manor elderly's palm, it was as though there was a thunderous explosion from the sky. After this strike, the two of them retreated several steps away from each other. Oh, the Baiming Manor elderly stared at Yi Qingtang and was taken aback. He previously saw that this young lord was young and judged that her experiences in the outside world should be rather little. As such, whatever he said earlier on was just to make Yi Qingtang lower her guard. Chapter 1064 Shameless, 3. However, the Baiming Manor elderly could not understand one point no matter how he thought about it. His words were flawless, and there was nothing to pick on, yet why was this lady already prepared for this attack? If Yi Qingtang was completely unprepared before and sensed it afterward, it was impossible for her to react so quickly, and she would have definitely been injured. However, that was not what happened. Baiming Manor. One of the three mighty forces of this mainland. I never thought that the manor has such sly people. Yi Qingtang looked at the Baiming Manor elderlies, and a cold glint emerged in her eyes. If she was not already on her guard earlier on, the consequences would be unthinkable. Once she was injured and the two young lords before her joined forces, they would be an extremely huge threat to her. Ha! Little girl, you annihilated Yunxiao's sect and injured my Baiming Manor envoy. You already have a death crime. If you join Baiming Manor today, perhaps Baiming Manor can still let bygones be bygones. However, you don't know what is good for you. Since that's the case, there's no need for you to leave here today. The Baiming Manor elderly sneered, exposing his true nature. Even if I join Baiming Manor, I'm afraid that it does not have room for me either. By then, even if I died, I would most likely die mysteriously. Yi Qingtang snickered coldly. Oh. You even know about this too? The two Beiming Manor elderlies were startled and were in disbelief. Given this girl's age, she could actually analyze all of that. Ha 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 ha, little girl, it seems that you're not a brainless young lord. With things as such, there's no harm coming clean with you. Your guesses are indeed right. Currently, the three mighty forces are relatively balanced, and with you, a young lord, this balance will be destroyed no matter which side you join, and the side you join would definitely be jointly annihilated by the other two forces. Neither the Phantom Valley, Peerless School, or our Beiming Manor wish to see such a situation happen. As long as you die, everyone will be happy, right? The Beiming Manor elderly laughed. Yi Qingtang did not retort and nodded. What you said makes a lot of sense. However, the condition is that you all need to have the ability to do so. Humph. Little girl, don't be so selfish. Even if it's for the balance of the three mighty forces, offering your life is worth it, a Beiming Manor elderly said. It's a pity that the so-called three mighty forces that you all are talking about are nothing in my eyes, said Yi Qingtang. Haha, interesting. I just thought that your thinking is extremely mature. Now, it seems that that is not the case. After all, you're too young. Do you really believe that you are unparalleled now that you are a young lord? The Beiming Manor elderly scoffed. Each of the three mighty forces of this mainland had 4 young lords. With a total of 12 young lords, what could Yi Qingtang, a mere itinerant cultivator, amount to? I don't dare to believe that I am unparalleled, but I should be skilled enough to deal with you too. Yi Qingtang had an indifferent expression. After hearing what Yi Qingtang had said, the Beiming Manor elderly was infuriated. With death at hand, how dare you make such bold claims? Then, the Beiming Manor elderly shot a look to the other elderly. That elderly then retrieved a scarlet ancient mirror from his space ring. As the scarlet ancient mirror appeared, a surge of olden air flooded out. Chapter 1065 Mirror of Illusions 1. A blood-colored light suddenly gushed out of the scarlet ancient mirror in the Beiming Manor elderly's hand as though it was an everlasting aurora. Without giving Yi Qingtang any time to react, it instantly enshrouded Yi Qingtang in it. Sensing the aura of this blood-colored light, Yi Qingtang frowned slightly. This scarlet ancient mirror was a Dharma treasure exclusive to young lords. Its level was extremely high, and only young lords and those above the young lord realm could control and use it. Ha ha ha, little girl, this mirror is the captive sky mirror. Even a young lord will lose control of their body movement once they are caught in this mirror. The Beiming Manor elderly who held the ancient mirror snickered as he looked at Yi Qingtang, who was sealed within the ancient mirror. No matter how powerful a young lord was, if they were unable to move and faced 2 other young lords who were set out to kill, the only outcome was death. Yi Qingtang immediately activated the powers of the heavenly demon bloodline and executed the heavenly demon devouring bloodline in the fastest time possible. The devouring bloodline could devour everything in this world, including mental energy and physical energy. No matter what energy this Dharma treasure made use of, it was unable to withstand the strength of the heavenly demon devouring bloodline. As the devouring powers were executed, the blood-colored light from the ancient mirror was completely swallowed by Yi Qingtang's heavenly demon devouring bloodline in no time. Moreover, Yi Qingtang could clearly feel that the power in her body seemed to have increased a little, probably from devouring the ancient mirror energy earlier on. Although it was not obvious, she could still feel it. This is. Noticing the situation, the 2 Beiming Manor elderlies were dumbstruck and could not comprehend the situation. This little girl must have a similar Dharma treasure to counter it, the elderly with the scarlet ancient mirror mumbled with a frown. Both Beiming Manor elderlies did not have much knowledge about the heavenly demon bloodline and thus were oblivious that Yi Qingtang used the heavenly demon devouring bloodline earlier on. A battle among young lords was not simple and took up a lot of time. As such, both young lords originally wanted to use the Dharma treasure to end the battle quickly, but they never thought that the captive sky mirror would have no effect on Yi Qingtang. Read more chapter on VIP novel. Humph. Since that's the case, we will join forces, and use the secret sound sky spirit technique to kill this girl. The Beiming Manor elderly said. That's the only way. The other elderly nodded and immediately stored his scarlet ancient mirror. Then, both of them used their palms to form a print, and a massive primordial qi and mental energy instantly erupted. The secret sound sky spirit technique was one of the divine techniques of Beiming Manor. However, the conditions for executing this technique were extremely harsh and required young lords of at least Yin-Yang perfected Lord 7th Heaven to join forces in order for the technique to have an invincible might. It was difficult for even Yi Qingtang to defend against such a divine technique. The secret sound sky spirit technique mainly attacked one's mental state and was not considered a physical attack, thus, there was no way to defend against it. This was also the frightening aspect of the technique. In an instant, an unusual sound that resembled a howl from hell rang around Yi Qingtang and caused goosebumps. It is not only your Beiming Manor that has Dharma treasures. Without hesitation, Yi Qingtang immediately retrieved an even plainer ancient mirror from her space ring. This ancient mirror was the Mirror of Illusions. It could only be used by the Phoenix bloodline and would materialize all attacking forces. Yi Qingtang obtained this Mirror of Illusions in the Dragon Vein as a gift from the Divine Phoenix after obtaining the Divine Phoenix inheritance. Chapter 1066 Mirror of Illusions. 2. The two Beiming Manor elderlies did not recognize the Mirror of Illusions in Yi Qingtang's hand and were not affected by anything, thus, they focused fully on the secret sound sky spirit technique. However, Yi Qingtang used the Mirror of Illusions at this instant. In the next second, all the unusual sounds actually turned into logs of wood. The logs fell from the sky and crashed onto the ground noisily. The scene that played out before their eyes left the two Beiming Manor elderlies completely dumbfounded and in disbelief. The secret sound sky spirit technique actually turned into logs of wood when shown on by Yi Qingtang's ancient mirror. How could this be? What is that Dharma treasure of yours? One of the Beiming Manor elderlies stared at Yi Qingtang and asked in disbelief. They had never heard of a Dharma treasure which could turn attacks into logs of wood. However, Yi Qingtang scoffed and did not utter a word. She immediately stored the Mirror of Illusions and turned into a flash of shadow as she leaped forward. Using her palm as a knife, she slashed down at one Beiming Manor elderly. Noticing the situation, the Beiming Manor elderly grunted in fury, immediately stepped forward, and entered a scuffle with Yi Qingtang. However, this person's martial skills were only at the late stage of Yin-Yang perfected Lord 7th Heaven and was not Yi Qingtang's opponent. Dozens of moves later, he was already in a disadvantageous position. Another Beiming Manor elderly joined in instantly. This person's martial realm was similar to that of Yi Qingtang's Yin-Yang perfected Lord 7th Heaven peak. However, even if the two Yin-Yang perfected Lord 7th Heaven late stage and peak cultivators joined forces, they were still on the losing ground and were simply not Yi Qingtang's opponent. How can this be? The two Beiming Manor elderlies were increasingly astonished as they fought. Although Yi Qingtang was at the peak of Yin-Yang perfected Lord 7th Heaven, her combat powers did not lose to an 8th Heaven cultivator and were even neck and neck with their Beiming Manor chief. Read more chapter on VIP novel. In no time, these two Beiming Manor elderlies were severely injured. Should they continue the battle, it would not be of any threat to Yi Qingtang while they would be in a dangerous situation instead. Retreat first. The two Beiming Manor elderlies exchanged a look, and one of them said with a frown. After fighting with Yi Qingtang for some time, both of them were fully aware that it was impossible for the two of them to be of any threat to Yi Qingtang in the current situation. They could only leave first and leave subsequent matters to be resolved by the manor chief. If the manor chief took action personally and came with their few young lords, this lady could be killed easily. Humph, little girl, your skills are indeed impressive. However, you have offended Biming Manor now, and there's no way out. We will not pursue you anymore today. The situation will change. The next time we meet, I will take your life. Afterward, the two Biming Manor elderlies turned into a flash of shadow and flew towards the sky. You come and go as you wish. Do you think it is that simple? If Biming Manor sent all its young lords and the Biming Manor chief, even Yi Qingtang would be unable to cope with that. It was best to kill these two young lords here right now. Swoosh! Yi Qingtang waved the regicide sky blade, and a scarlet sword gleam with an extremely intense power of the divine phoenix bloodline slashed the sky. Boom! One of the wounded young lords was caught off guard and fully bore Yi Qingtang's blow. Chapter 1067 Mirror of Illusions, 3. The Biming Manor elderly was extremely pale from the blow and spat out blood as he fell from the sky to the ground. Realizing the situation, the other Biming Manor elderly was alarmed and did not dare to stop for a second. He sped up and flew with all his might, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Yi Qingtang did not continue to pursue that young lord who fled away and instead landed from the sky and stood before the heavily injured Biming Manor elderly. It was this person who spoke cleverly to make her put down her guard and then targeted her with a lethal strike. The Biming Manor elderly was as pale as a dead person as he watched Yi Qingtang warily. Never had he expected that this lattice combat power would be this large and powerful. The previous plan was for him and the other young lord to join forces. If they could convince Yi Qingtang to join Biming Manor, then they would leave it, but if they were unable to convince her, they had to kill her right there and then. Nonetheless, no one had expected that even when he joined forces with another young lord, in the end, they were also not Yi Qingtang's opponents and were defeated by her. One should not harbor any murderous thoughts. If careless, the one who dies will be yourself. Yi Qingtang looked at the heavily injured Biming Manor elderly and scoffed. You dare to kill me? The Biming Manor elderly's expression darkened. You and Biming Manor have not reached the irrevocable stage. If you kill me, Biming Manor will definitely be after your life in the future. Can you take on Biming Manor on your own? I don't want to have any relations with Biming Manor at all, but you all will not leave me alone. Since that's the case, don't blame me for putting up a strong resistance. As she spoke, she did not even give the Biming Manor elderly any reaction time and waved her regicide sky blade. In an instant, the regicide sky blade chopped the Biming Manor elderly's head, and a young lord of the Biming Manor died like that. Biming Manor's loss of a young lord was not as simple as just the death of a powerful figure. The three mighty forces of this mainland had 4 young lords each, and this resulted in a counterbalancing effect where no party could do anything to another. Nonetheless, now that Biming Manor lost a young lord and only had 3 young lords remaining, it would no longer be on the same level as Phantom Valley and Peerless School, and they were, at the very least, weaker than the other 2 great forces. If Phantom Valley and Peerless School learned of the death of this young lord, the consequences would be disastrous. Once one of the 3 mighty forces were weakened, it would definitely face the invasion of others. This was the law of the jungle and also an unchangeable fact of the struggle between forces. Yi Qingtang believed that Biming Manor would not have any time to deal with Phantom Valley and Peerless School, much less herself. She searched through the Biming Manor elderly's body and kept his space ring. Subsequently, she shot up into the sky and flew towards the 9 Knights dynasty. Given Yi Qingtang's current speed of a young lord, it merely took half a day for her to fly from the formidable Heavens dynasty to the 9 Knights dynasty. Apart from resolving the internal and external crisis of Falling Sky Valley, Yi Qingtang could perhaps spread the news that Baiming Manor lost a young lord to Phantom Valley and Peerless School. However, once Yi Qingtang returned to the Nine Knights dynasty, she would probably have some conflict with Peerless School to help Falling Sky Valley. Chapter 1068 Falling Sky Valley 1. Several Peerless School disciples returned to Falling Sky Valley again. Apart from demanding Falling Sky Valley to hand over perfected Xuanqian's disciple, Yi Chen, they also requested an increment in the offerings to Peerless School. The Full Moon Peak Master, Xianyuan Yi, told the Peerless School disciples with a smile that Yi Chen is indeed not in Falling Sky Valley right now, humph. We have already investigated it clearly. That fellow isn't even from the ancient clan and has an unknown origin. Injuring a Peerless School disciple is a crime punishable by death. We don't care where that fellow is right now. He is the disciple of your Falling Sky Valley Master, and we will only ask Falling Sky Valley for him, one of the Peerless School disciples said. Upon hearing that, Full Moon Peak Master Xianyuan Yi sized up perfected Xianqian and snickered. Yi Chen was perfected Xuanqian's disciple, and perfected Xianqian had to be the one who gave an explanation. What you all said is very true. Xianyuan Yi nodded and said. However, that Yi Chen is perfected Xuanqian's disciple. Valley Master will definitely give Peerless School an explanation for this matter. Please rest assured. Everyone's eyes landed on perfected Xianqian successively. Perfected Xianqian, that Yi Chen is your disciple. You must hand over Yi Chen today, or you will bear the consequences yourself. The Peerless School warden looked at perfected Xianqian and scoffed. Perfected Xianqian frowned deeply upon hearing that. Yi Chen had left Falling Sky Valley for a long time and never appeared since then. While perfected Xianqian was unaware of Yi Chen's location, he would definitely not tell anyone Yi Chen's location even if he knew that Yi Chen was his disciple. To be honest, I don't know where my disrespectful disciple is at either. Thus, I am afraid I cannot do anything to help. However, the issue of increasing Falling Sky Valley's offerings to Peerless School can be considered. Perfected Xianqian looked at the Peerless School people and said. Increasing the offerings is a must. However, Yi Chen must be handed over as well. This is Peerless School's orders and not a negotiation with your Falling Sky Valley. A Peerless School warden shouted coldly. Perfected Xianqian was extremely helpless but could not do anything either. At this instant, a Falling Sky Valley disciple came and greeted Perfected Xianqian with cupped fists. Valley Master, Full Moon Peak Master furrowed his brows and yelled furiously. Insolent! Don't you know how to look at the occasion? Peak Master. It's not, the Falling Sky Valley disciple said hurriedly. A powerful figure is here to pay Falling Sky Valley a visit. Powerful figure? Everyone was stunned to hear what this Falling Sky Valley disciple had said. What kind of powerful figure is it for you to rush in here without permission so insolently? The Full Moon Peak Master questioned coldly. It's a young lord. The Falling Sky Valley disciple replied hastily. Everyone was taken by surprise. A young lord was visiting Falling Sky Valley. Young lord? Even Perfected Xianqian was filled with astonishment, much less Full Moon Peak Master. That's right, the Falling Sky Valley disciple said as he nodded repeatedly. The young lord is from Peerless School. The Peerless School warden asked after some thinking. A young lord in the Nine Knights dynasty could only be from Peerless School. I don't know about that. The Falling Sky Valley disciple shook his head. It was the first time in his life seeing a young lord. God knows if that young lord was from Peerless School. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.